wing. We care about the receipts, we care about the reality, but then we have a lot of cult-like dynamics, or still have a lot of cult-like dynamics of our own.
Not like the omni-liberals, guys. We're better than that.
Where we don't really look into things that deeply if the saints of our movement say it. And yeah, for how proud I was for a lot of my life of I really care about the reality, there were a lot of points where I missed it myself. No one likes to talk about this stuff because it's messy, right? It doesn't make anyone look good. It doesn't make me look good because it makes me look like I'm gonna air everyone's dirty laundry. It doesn't make everyone in the movement or conservatism look good because they look like a mess. They look like it's full of people that are stealing money and lying about each other.
Which they are.
I could very easily carry on just making videos. I climb that social ladder, not talk about any of this, and my life would be a lot simpler, but I genuinely can't. I can't. It doesn't feel right. I feel like it's dishonest. I feel whenever I talk about the right wing and when people wonder why I have so much distrust or skepticism or
animosity,
why I don't like the right or isolate myself a bit more, no one really understands why. And I haven't explained any of it because it's just so much. It's so much. And it's easier not to talk about. But yeah, we're about to get into some heavy stuff here. We're about to get into some much heavier stuff. Whew. So 2016, 2017, back to the main storyline. Milo's in hot water over his privilege grant, and I am in some hot water of my own. I just don't know it yet. I've moved to Toronto, working for Rebel, killing it. All my videos are doing fantastic. I'm getting these interviews with Jordan Peterson, first one on SJWs, all his protests, they're going viral. At this point, I'm on top of the world. I don't think anything's gonna change. It's just upward trajectory with Rebel from here. And then I'm sitting at my desk in the office and I get an email. It's from Ezra and it says the office are going on an Israel trip. We're gonna have some fun, try some couscous, make some
Oh my God, she does love Israel, guys.
Videos, it'll be great. Okay, so anyways, a few months go by, we're getting closer to the actual trip, and we start getting emails asking us to do public crowdfunding for the trip and to crowdfund it as a fact-finding investigative journalism mission. No worries. The only problem I had was that when I was speaking to people in the office about the trip and getting itineraries for it, it became pretty obvious that this was a guided tour, not a fact-finding mission. We had, people we were slated to speak to every day. We had a tour guide that was, aligned with an organization that was assisting to fund the trip. And I have no problem whatsoever with guided tours of Israel, people who do these paid for trips to kind of get people to understand the politics and the ideas there. That's not my issue at all. It was that it wasn't being honest with the audience. What we were asked to pitch the audience was that we were going on this like hardcore fact-finding mission when really it was just like a tour guide trip that was already being assisted in funding. So I sent an email to the higher ups telling them, listen, seems like a great trip, seems like a lot of fun. My particular expertise is not in Middle Eastern issues whatsoever. I don't have a massive opinion on this stuff. And I'm just not comfortable telling the audience that we're going on a fact-finding mission that's actually a tour, right?
So when I share some of my concerns about the Israel crowdfunding, why do you guys use these terms? I feel like, sorry, I see that Lauren for Liberty, and it sounds like a conservative, American email address, but maybe Canadians do this too. The bookcase can't be blocked from view from the table. I don't care, fuck that. So I want to share some concerns about the Israel crowdfunding. It does indeed say in the first email that let's do a lot of fun videos about there, so that's fine. I did, however, assume that such a cost-ineffective trip with so many talent being brought along was sponsored. Maybe I was silly to assume that, but it looks like I was partially right anyway. I love being able to do grassroots crowdfunding for stuff like DC. People are happy to help. And although I don't necessarily agree with overfunding for stuff, I get that's how we make money. We're a business, and it can be justified in the public eye. I, however, don't see how such a cost-ineffective trip with so many talent and so little demand for a story in the area, especially from my Israel-Palestine illiterate perspective, can be justified for crowdfunding.
Oh, my angel.
I never would have imagined, after seeing the initial list of people going, that we would have our audience pay for that? Question mark. I don't feel comfortable crowdfunding for this. I wouldn't mind putting in a general video just saying support the Rebel with buying a membership, etc. That's totally cool. Just have a lot of trouble morally justifying this one. Let me know your thoughts. If that means I can't go, totally understand. If you want to take Jerry something instead, I get it. Just don't feel morally right doing this. Wow, cringe. She should have just gotten her bag.
Right? So can I fundraise in some other way? Can I maybe just ask people in general for donations to Rebels? Say we need help, say we need, obviously every company needs money to function and run. So can I just portray this in a different way that I feel is more honest to the audience? And maybe I'll even take a step back from the Israel trip. I don't have to go. I'm not a big fan of the structure. I didn't think I had done anything wrong. I thought that was like a very reasonable, well-measured approach to a situation that I was a bit uncomfortable with. But for some reason, I still had this sinking gut feeling that there was something bad about to happen. Went home, slept, got to work the next day, setting up my papers in the office, getting ready to write my video, and I get called into the general manager's office. I hadn't done anything wrong. I still hold that I had not done anything wrong, so I didn't think I had reason to be worried. But when they brought me in, I was told that I was a bit uncomfortable with, like not a big reasonable. For some reason, I still had fundraising.
The only thing I was curious here is if she CC'd like other people in the company, because that would explain why somebody got really mad. It could be for other reasons too, but I was curious if there was like a CC to like other people or whatever. But okay, just checking for that.
Some other way. Can I be more on? I'm not a big fan of the structure. I didn't think I had done anything wrong. I thought that was like a very reasonable, well-measured approach to a situation that I was a bit uncomfortable with. But for some reason, I still had this sinking gut feeling that there was something bad about to happen. Went home, slept, got to work the next day, setting up my papers in the office, getting ready to write my video, and I get called into the general manager's office. I hadn't done anything wrong. I still hold that I had not done anything wrong, so I didn't think I had reason to be worried. But when they brought me in, I was told that I was being let go. I was being fired from the company. Yeah, I lost my job in conservative media. And I will never forget walking out of that office with my little box of things and sitting on the curb outside, thinking to myself, you know what? I did the right thing. I did the right thing. I was honest about how I felt about this. I was honest that it made me feel uncomfortable. And if I got fired for being honest, then so be it. That's why I'm making this video right now, because I'm really bad at being dishonest. But I also had this feeling of impending doom that just sunk in my stomach, realizing, how am I going to pay the rent? How am I going to pay my next bill? I live in a one-bedroom apartment in Toronto, sleeping on a mattress that I can't even afford a bed frame for. Just having this realization that doing the right thing doesn't pay the bills, it's depressing, but true, and it never changes. This video is probably going to severely hurt my career. Severely. There'll probably be a bunch of people that cut me off, maybe people that pursue me legally. It's not going to be good. It's not going to be good, but I have sat for so long wanting to make this video, and it bothers me all the time, every day, when I don't. So I just have to. Whatever.
I just want to be on the record. If there are any conservatives that would seriously consider cutting off Lauren for this type of video, my email is contact@destiny.gg. If you offer me enough money, I'll join you, okay? But I need a big payment. If you're not willing to offer 5 figures, don't even think about it, okay? But just let me know, okay?
So after my whole crying on the curb situation, I say, F it, you know what? I believe in this. I believe in doing this right. I'm gonna go independent, do my own thing, not cause any drama, don't need that in my life. just move on. And then a few months after going independent myself, I see this video come up on my newsfeed of a couple guys that also got fired from Rebel that had a bunch of problems with them, named Kaylin and George. And they were working for Tommy Robinson, doing incredible content with him. It's going viral. Tommy's career is killing it. And these videos they're filming are just gorgeous. And I realized they've actually DM'd me before. So we get in touch and we decide we're gonna do some work together. I'll come out to London, we'll do some filming. They love what they're doing, but things are hectic and chaotic, which, let's get into that. I fly out to London. And Tommy, Kaylin, and George are, they're hard to explain. So publicly, the whole drama with Rebel Media, allegedly Kaylin and George were blackmailing Tommy Robinson. That was what the public story was. And that's why they were fired from Rebel, and that's why there was all this drama.
I've had a rough week. No, it's not what you think. It's not because the liberal media is criticizing us for being too right-wing. That happens all the time. Something else happened to me for the first time in my life, actually, and I don't really know how to say it other than to just say it, and I can't really believe it, but here it goes, I'll say it. I'm being blackmailed. They were threatening Tommy Robinson, too. Kaylin Robertson and George Llewellyn-John threatened to release video footage they claimed to have taken of Tommy Robinson confessing that he punched a guy at Ascot in self-defense.
When I went to London and I met them all at a bar together as they were laughing and acting like best friends. It was another one of those situations where I just walk in and I'm like, is anything these people in politics say publicly true? Is any of it true? Why are the three of you here laughing and having beers together when everyone on Twitter is talking about how you've all betrayed each other and are having this?
Oh, it's like my dream of going to the bar and seeing all the people hanging out with each other. And I'm like, wait, I thought you guys all hated each other. And they're like, no, that's fake. True.
It's massive fallout.
Like the dream. Actually true. Except it's real life. I knew it.
But they basically said, yeah, none of that was true. We're good mates. That's just Rebel drama. We're fine. We're all working together. Come join us in the UK. Have some fun. So I stay in the UK for a while. We film a bunch of videos. I watch their process filming content with Tommy. At this point in time, they are secretly filming for Tommy. So the public don't know since they're supposed to be in public drama. And this seemed to be a repetitive cycle. Actually, you know what? Let me pause for a minute here and explain this. This is really important. Kaylin, Tommy, and George were like
this is really important.
a toxic relationship.
Important.
They would fight all the time. They'd have problems and break up. But they also kind of needed each other. Like they worked really well together, but they were just constantly having these makeup, breakup sessions. But the issue was both of them would make mistakes. Tommy would go out on a bender, get drunk and fall asleep under a bridge somewhere and not show up to a shoot that they were supposed to do and forget to pay them. Kaylin and George would get pissed and decide to use his credit card to pay dinner for themselves since they didn't get paid for a whole day of work they were supposed to get paid for and took the day off for. And they'd have all of these constant falling outs that were absolutely 1000% both of their faults. But because Tommy was the public figure and because it was him that the public looked to and gave donations to, and he was kind of, you know, the face of the operation, whenever falling outs would happen, all of the blame publicly had to go on Kaylin and George. Of course, they're the support staff. If Tommy's reputation is wrecked, well, then none of them have jobs anymore. So Tommy would apologize in private all the time for dumb shit that he did, for forgetting to pay them, for not showing up for things. He would apologize all the time in private, but no one publicly ever saw those apologies. So it looked like everything that ever went wrong in the relationship between Tommy, Kaylin, and George was always Kaylin and George's fault. It was another one of these million situations that I witnessed over and over and over again, where support staff would just absolutely have their reputations destroyed by famous people basically needing to protect their reputations because that's their whole job. So Kaylin and George, I know a lot of people watching this are going to be like, are you talking about those Antifa traitors? Are you talking about those scum that scammed Tommy Robinson? Oh, my friend. I'm sorry, but you have heard a lot of stories that are just not even remotely close to true. And half of it started with this beginning constant breakup, makeup cycle and apologies only happening one way publicly. towards Tommy. So that's kind of explaining the grounding that I'm walking into in London and what I'm witnessing. It's all chaos. Everything people see publicly isn't quite the truth, and these people work amazing together, but it's a toxic relationship, plain and simple. So at this point, I'm doing a ton of work with Kaylin and George. They're filming these hilarious, like just gorgeous videos for me, how to be a single woman. It was so funny. We had so much fun filming it. But then they're also working for Tommy. So Tommy's coming by every other day saying, hey, let's go out and do this shoot and that shoot. Half of it is public with Kaylin and George. Half of it is private and secretive. They're always in some drama. But eventually I get invited to speak at Day for Freedom in the UK. This was right after I got banned. Oh, there's a lot that happened between there, but that's for a whole nother video on its own. And I want to get into this story because once again, I really want to talk about all the people that were burned throughout this process and all the people that were burned over money, reputation, this kind of stuff. It's really important to highlight just how messed up the culture was in this political movement. Lucy Brown.
Look for the girl with the sun in her eyes and she's gone.
Lucy Brown. Lucy Brown was another support staff for Tommy. So there were like 3 people that were basically making Tommy's career possible. And you'll notice that you probably don't see much of Tommy Robinson on your feed anymore. And you can jump up and down and blame censorship. But the reality is a lot of people need their support staff to be successful. And when you burn them, hard to keep going.
And the people were thanking me. I had loads of people coming up saying thank you for the day. I didn't do anything. That's the truth. They done it all.
So it was Lucy Brown, Kaylin, and George. They were running the websites, they were doing all the editing, they were doing all the graphics, they were organizing all the events, they were pulling Tommy and whoever else out of bars, half drunk.
She's been seek-hoiling her way around Birmingham. And somehow she thinks it's all sort of cute.
To get them to bed, to sleep, and then driving them places in the morning. It was crazy how much the 3 of these people did.
You're wearing real fur.
I think that's fucking
That
outrageous.
is disgusting.
How was that steak you ate yesterday?
Yeah, but JFK was murdered.
Steak? You're not comparing a steak to fur?
I'm wearing it, you're eating it.
Lucy, this is a boardroom. What do you think you're doing? What is this? Presentation. Lucy!
That's not a fact.
But Lucy was one of the main point persons for organizing Day for Freedom.
God, the fucking tape, every time people do this shit is the worst thing in the world.
Today has been called the Day for Freedom. These people feel like they are losing their voice in society. However, is that really the case when they're amongst some of the most famous, followed and talked about activists in the country? The event was organised by former EDL leader Tommy Robinson, who thinks that the government, the media and social media companies are trying to censor his views.
A lot of you will remember this if you were around in that time. Huge event in London. Milo spoke there, Gavin spoke there, I spoke there on a billboard right after my ban. And one of the angles that Tommy and Lucy and everyone thought would be fun to take was this isn't just like a free speech event for right-wingers. We support free speech in general for everyone. We're gonna have a, drag queen come and sing there. We're gonna have a Muslim speaker come there. Obviously, Tommy's whole approach to things was criticizing Islam. So the idea that he would do a free speech event and have a Muslim there would be massive, like really show a commitment to free speech.
So it's 8:30 and we needed somewhere to film in Manchester. And we were meeting Janaea and Red Pill Phil for our promo video. So I contacted my mate Mark. And we've invaded, and we've drunk all his dad's beer. We've just finished. We left at 6 this morning. We're about to head back down to Luton now. We've got a busy day tomorrow, but this promo, it will be worth it. It's about showing how many people this is affecting, all the different communities and everyone that's affected. So yeah, peace and get gear
out. Tommy actually did a public announcement saying we're going to have Ali Dawah, one of Tommy's arch nemesis, come and speak on stage. He did this announcement on Facebook, and he told Lucy, invite Ali Dawah, make a poster for him, bring him to the event.
Will Ali Dawah be speaking?
Yes, Ali Dawah will be speaking. He's our surprise Idiot of the Day guest.
But as soon as Tommy posted that Facebook video, he got incensed reactions from his audience. A lot of football lads, a lot of people that felt Tommy was betraying his criticisms of Islam, betraying his ideals by inviting this guy. And within less than an hour, Tommy deleted this Facebook video. Just pretended he never uploaded it. Gone, right? Deleted all of the posts he made about Ali Dawah coming, got rid of them all.
Based.
The event comes
Based
the next
religious
day.
Intolerance.
Ali Dawah shows up for his scheduled speaking time. I think Count Dankula even posted a photo of the speakers list where it showed Ali Dawah's speaking slot.
Oh God, they've actually got Ali Dawah. It's happening, it's happening. This is fantastic.
Tommy's, it's hard to talk about because obviously this is, I believe there are so many legitimate concerns about Islam. I think there are so many people in the UK that are conservative, that truly, deserve a voice. But there were some bad actors there that were Tommy supporters, that when Ali Dawah and Mohammed Hajib, I think was his friend, when they showed up to give their speech, they got beat up. They got beat up and dragged out of the Day for Freedom event.
Not a good look for a free speech event.
Yeah.
Wait. Struggling. Hey. What are you struggling with? The weather or? Yes, the weather.
What are you struggling with?
I can't say. And my lips are sealed, ironically.
Get the camera out of his face.
I thought conservatives dropped the Islam thing. Does Ella still do that meme a lot? I don't know if she's talked about it much recently. Anti-Islam sentiment, I think, across Europe was probably peaked or became a huge hot button topic post 2013 refugees from Syrian exodus. Like that, the Syrian refugee crisis, I think, is one of the huge events that spurred on a lot of the kind of anti-Islam sentiment, and then kind of furthered a lot of the right-wing parties that grew, especially I think in France with Marine Le Pen, and I think Germany with the AfD. Sweden had their own problems taking on shit. But 2013, 2014, I think was a big driver of that. I would argue that probably one of the biggest contributing factors to Brexit. There were, that was just that the Syrian refugee thing was a really, really, really big deal in terms of pushing a lot of the anti-Islam rhetoric. And then ISIS as well, obviously, didn't help with the terrorist attacks and everything too. But I think with the Syrian refugee crisis, that's where you were getting the big videos and shit. With I think even people like Lauren saying things like, look at all the, what was the term she used, the fighting age men that are coming to these other countries that aren't real refugees and shit. That was a big thing, yeah. In her video, a current take section, she just did her big signal about having an issue with Islam, which is why I asked. I don't know, I haven't watched that video. But part of the Brexit propaganda was Turkey could join the EU, Syria could be next. Sure, maybe, I don't know.
I was invited today. No, back up! Because I want to speak about freedom of speech. There you go.
Do you let us speak? Yes. No, you don't. When do you ever stand up for us to have our say?
Come on,
Jesus Christ is our Saviour.
free speech event that's supposed to be for conservatives, you know, supporting the free marketplace of ideas. Meanwhile, all of us make fun of Antifa for needing to resort to violence. That event resulted in right-wingers beating up Muslims for wanting to speak freely. Everyone becomes a hypocrite, hey? But that actually wasn't that was a terrible, terrible part of that event, horrible part of that event. But that actually wasn't one of the worst things that happened. After Ali Dawa got beat up.
I think I mentioned, I think I've mentioned this before. I think at an early point in my life, I think the most disillusioned I'd become with conservatives because I would say in high school, I was like a conservative / libertarian. I think a lot of younger people would have been. You're kind of like a conservative / libertarian because in some ways, a lot of them were conflated. But it was like my mom, obviously, Cuban immigrant, was in the Air Force, tells me all these great things about America, freedoms, anybody can do them, blah, 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 blah. And you'd always heard, like, there are so many ubiquitous phrases among right-leaning people. I might disagree with what you say, but I'll die for your right to say it, right? I'd heard that type of shit a lot. And, you know, conservatives were way better than liberals at protecting free speech who wanted to censor everything. Even back then when I was in high school, that was the take. But it was after the 9/11 attacks when conservatives and people in New York were starting to protest, like, mosques being built. I was like, hold on. This is the United States of America. You can't tell somebody not to build something because you don't like their religion. That's fucking wild. I remember that was like one of the first like huge moments for me as a kid where I was like, I don't think this is living up to the American ideal very much. Because there were huge, every time like somebody wanted to put up a new mosque or something in New York, people were like, this is only 2 miles from ground zero. This is ridiculous, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, holy shit, that's a little bit not very American, Chief. What happened to the whole, die for your right to say it and everything? I guess not. I think Trump was one of those people at that time that was saying, I remember the stories of like, I heard 2 different flavors of the same story. I don't know what ended up being the more popular, but one was that when the towers came down, there were groups of Jewish people dancing. I feel like that was a later one made up by alt-righters, but the more popular one at the time was, I thought it was when the towers came down, there were a group of Muslims that were dancing. That was the one that I'd heard said so much. Like, look, these Muslims in the United States were celebrating the fall of the Twin Towers. I've heard that take given, repeated by alt-righters a while ago where they say it was Jewish people instead. But yeah, I remember at the time, there was a very, very, very high anti-Islam sentiment in the United States. So I was like, it's a little bit crazy, but okay.
Up and dragged out of the event.
Maybe it was Hassan dancing.
A lot of people publicly wanted an explanation. Why did Ali Dawa show up, Tommy? Why did he think he was going to get this free area to speak his horrendous ideas in front of a crowd? And Tommy publicly said,
I'd be happy if my freedom and right to freedom of speech, where I was invited today, would happen today. If it doesn't, you know what that means?
You're on the menu. Clearly said Ali Dawa was not invited to speak. 3 posts saying he's categorically not invited to speak. Now, those posts were removed from my Facebook. I didn't remove them. An admin removed them. Why? I don't know.
Was there any validity to the dancing claims that were just made up? On the day of, I think it was made up. Then somebody, I think, tried to say like there was a year anniversary where it happened. And I think there were like some people dancing or photographed somewhere, but it was at like a New Year's party like a few months later or so. I don't remember. But the original claim, if you've never heard the original claim before, it was basically that like either a group of Jewish people or a group of Muslims was dancing because they were either celebrating death to America or they were celebrating that their like secret plans to like bring down the towers worked or whatever. There's 50 million different flavors of that conspiracy theory.
Removed.
Just completely lied. I don't even dislike Tommy. I just dislike the fact that he did this stuff.
And this is where I absolutely have to call out Tommy Robinson for posting completely fake news to his Facebook profile. In a video Tommy Robinson posted the other day, it says in the beginning, Mohammed Hijab assaults police. The description of the video says, Muslim MMA fighter turns up to provoke trouble at the Day of Freedom, and his film crew live stream him hitting a police officer. #own goal. That is completely disingenuous.
He came out and publicly said, I would never invite Ali Dawa. Never in a million years. I would never invite that moron to come speak at my event.
Lucy, you're lying, Lucy. Stop.
What do you mean I'm lying?
You said to me to delete the tweet because you wanted to introduce him.
Go on, off you go, you fucking coward.
I wish I had the audacity to do something that's probably no, I didn't say that. No, what? No, I didn't. That's a good meme.
In fact, not only did I not invite him, he was secretly invited behind my back by Lucy Brown, who is this horrible left-wing Antifa spy that is trying to destroy our movement.
Base.
Oh, where have we heard this story before, am I right? And he pinned all the blame for this on Lucy.
If you haven't figured this out, we kind of got this with Nick's America First shit imploding a little bit recently. On the left, everybody is like a secret Nazi or fascist. On the right, everybody's a secret Antifa or FBI informant.
Said she did it behind his back, was secretly working against him. Oh.
It makes you question how long herself or others have been
undermining the movement,
conspiring or working together. We'll soon see anyway, won't we? But yeah, I should have took the warnings. Everyone tried to warn me. Everyone warned me.
And what came of this was just horrendous. Lucy randomly just started seeing all of these tweets all over her timeline, all over Facebook, saying she was a disgusting whore, a snake, that she had betrayed the movement, how dare she, and just started panicking. I've talked to her about this 1,000 times, but it wasn't until 3 days later that she found out that Tommy had also fired her from her job. She'd given up everything. She was quite a successful photographer.
Base
she
secret
had
firing.
Really good opportunities.
In her
She
sleep.
was a young, beautiful girl
I'm
with
sorry, that's not
a
funny.
whole future ahead of her, and she had thrown it all away to work for Tommy because she believed in what he was doing, just to be fired out of nowhere so that Tommy could keep up public appearances. That, of course, I didn't invite Ali Dawa. Lucy was a secret snake that did all of this. And he obviously, to back that up, he couldn't just keep her employed. That would look crazy. People would be like, why are you still employing this woman who's a snake who went behind your back? So he fired her. He fired her to keep up the public appearance of this lie he told. That video of him saying he invited Ali Dawa exists. It's out there. But no one bothered to look for it. They just completely believed, once again, what their idol at the front of the movement, it's Tommy Robinson, how could he do any wrong? They just believed him and took a stand against Lucy. Lucy's life was destroyed. There's no other way of putting it. Absolutely destroyed. She had to go on to government assistance. She had a massive mental health collapse after all of this stuff that she sacrificed her life for. Everyone turned against her. She had to move back in with her parents, got extremely ill.
That's what's going to happen to Lanny after Xander Hall fucks her life up, guys. Don't let it happen. Hashtag save Lanny.
Going to counseling, almost killed herself. She did nothing wrong. She did nothing wrong. And she kept trying to tell the truth and just say, no, like, we should have let him speak. That was the plan from the beginning, and no one believed her. They all took a stand against her. There are absolutely no rewards for people who stick to their values in this industry. No rewards.
And these are people that are supposedly concerned about young white girls being groomed and raped, and they're speaking to you in this way.
Yes, as a result of, standing up and saying, I don't necessarily agree with this, or, I'm going to go my own way. I'm now, sort of living in a kind of situation where I'm sort of scared for my safety.
This is something I really want to touch on because it's something I have seen repeat itself so many times. But after Lucy's massive mental health collapse, her life being destroyed by all of this, she still has stalkers to this day that threaten to kill her. She has people yell at her in the streets over her being the traitor to Tommy Robinson. All completely false. Of course, when left-wing journalists came to her and said, we care about you, we care about your side of the story,
They
we're
just
not
want
gonna
the
treat
story.
you that way. Having someone say that to her, of course she'd want to go speak to them and have someone who actually wants to hear her side, which perpetuates the lie. People see her now go speak to left-wing journalists and they say, see, we called her a snake. We said she was a snake. We called it right, when in reality she was driven to speak to them by a bunch of people on the right being horrible to her.
Would you say he's far right?
Like him or loathe him, he speaks on behalf of them. It's not about him in a way, it's about the people who he represents, and there's a heck of a lot of them, and they feel left behind.
Yeah, and it's like a self-confirming prophecy, but eventually Lucy realized all the left-wingers that wanted to speak to her as well just wanted to use her for political reasons and then discard her, and she's been having a really hard time. A really hard time since all of that. a lot of these people that I kind of look back on as the casualties of this political movement I got swept up in, I still keep in touch with them. I still talk to them and ask them how they're doing every once in a while. And I care. A lot of people that were in my position, they're just the casualties. They're gone. But I really care what happened to a lot of these people. So I've still talked to Lucy every once in a while, and I spoke to her recently, especially letting her know I was going to film this. I asked, looking back on it, what do you think of these people like Tommy that did this to you? What do you think of, obviously I had my own experiences with this. What do you think of these people that just throw you under the bus for sticking to your values? And she wrote something that, it's like a dagger to my heart when I read it, but she said, personally, I think we stand as a mirror to their failings because they either gave up on their morals long ago or never had any in the first place, and are surprised when someone with nothing to gain still stands up for what they think is right. Exactly what they claim to do to their poor audiences. And, you know, when she talks about that mirror, how Lucy's sticking to her values and saying, no, you know what? You may try to ruin my life, but it was the right thing to say we should have Ali Dawa speak at this conference. It was the right thing. That's our true dedication to free speech. And I'm not going to lie about it. All I could think is when people see that mirror, that makes them look into how hypocritical they're being, all they want to do is smash that mirror. All they want to do is destroy people like Lucy who make them look at their own shortcomings. And God, it makes me, yeah, it's, had to watch it one too many times, happened to far too many people that I care about. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna take a break.
Okay, food break. Give me 3 minutes, 1 sec. It's interesting to see, and I know you said it a lot, but it's cool to see how truly principled and how much Ella sticks to her values, or at least appears to in this video, like dropping out of a free vacation because she doesn't believe in it and getting fired for it. Big difference for most lefties. I don't think it's like a political thing. Like, I don't think that like conservatives are more likely or lefties are more likely. I think it just comes down to like an individual person. I think that most people that are in the political arena, whether you're on the left or right, I think most people are here to just kind of like, it's like entertainment kind of. And the people in this space are actors. So you're here to like put on a show, get paid, do your thing, and then whatever your certain like political side is, it's more or less just kind of a it's like the role that you're playing basically. I mean, like you can see in terms of like my interaction with like a lot of people on the left.
It's already getting me like
I say this a lot, but like. I truly do feel like people like Keffels or Bad Bunny or Hassan, like in another world, with like 1 or 2 different tweaks in their life, like these would be people like spamming the N-word at people in COD lobbies and shit. They just happen to fall on the other side. Like anytime somebody gets so eager to use like a slur or like cracker or gusano, they like get like eager, like giddy to defend it, and then they start to wheel out all the most dog shit defenses that we've heard people say for like, you know, the N-word or for any other slur. Like it's pretty obvious that like in another world you were so close to being that person, but you found like a different way, like a different conduit through which to channel your feelings. But let me go warm some food up real quick. Hold on.
I do have it. Where is it? I have 37,000 on my money. I bought a lot, but there's obviously some things that didn't, because it's RNG. So it's like, you just get a token, and there's like, I have a bunch of things that I have already. Like I already have weapons, I already have the cloak. They gave me multiple cloaks, give me multiple belts, multiple weapons, and the same head. Is Zen Pilgrimage actually gonna take me back to my hearth or no? Okay. I'll have to take that. Here's my flight master. I gotta go back to Larvos. So I can go to Zereth Mortis. The reason why I can't go into the Maw until I do some shit. I've done Korthia, but I haven't finished Korthia. And then it'll give me the Rune Carver. Yeah, I was setting all this up and I was like, Jesus. Then I have to I'll probably end up getting rid of this here and actually getting a weak aura for monks.
Somebody donated $10. I'm not really reading super chats until we get to the end of this, but I don't know. I think I actually disagree. I think a lot of these people are a bunch of bullied losers who wish they could torture their bullies, and they try to find that opportunity every day. Maybe, I don't know.
Stay here and listen a while. Well, I guess I do that.
I don't know. Do you have this vision while driving at night? Sometimes, not this extreme, but I think if you have these problems, I think it's a sign of an astigmatism, which I have slightly in one of my eyes. People get really mad when I say like, oh, I have like some respect for like people like Fuentes or Lauren or whatever. I think it's not so much, it has nothing to do with their political views. I have respect for people that like genuinely have like some principled political beliefs that they actually believe in. Because when I look at how a lot of people act online, I've said this like a million times, it feels like a lot of these people don't really have any beliefs. It's just like whatever the trendy shit is at the time that gets them the most clicks and views. And the way that I see this the most is it's very, very, very rare that I have a conversation with any of these big people where it feels like they really understand what they're talking about, and they can like provide like a challenging perspective or conversation. Like most of them avoid conversation like the devil because they know they can't provide any interesting or challenging perspectives. A lot of people don't understand anything they're talking about. So then a lot of the outrage and feelings they have just feel like very performative to me.
Covenant shit.
So like when Lance gets like really indignant about Google wouldn't even let these poor trans people have their names on their badges. They wanted to dead name them constantly. But he didn't know anything about the story. He didn't know if it was actually Google. It was just a security subcontractor. He didn't know the reason why. He hadn't thought about it. It's like, how can you be so mad? How can you be so mad about this story, but you don't even know anything about it? Like, it sounds like this is all like just performative bullshit. I don't like. It doesn't seem like you care about this at all. Like, I don't know. That kind of stuff drives me fucking crazy. Any people on the left that you respect? In terms of large content creators, I don't think so. Maybe, I like AOC seems like somebody genuinely, but she's like a politician, not a content creator. I don't know. I'd have to think about it. I'm sure there must be some. There must be some people out there. Hutch, I wouldn't consider Hutch like a political guy. Hutch seems genuine though. Abba and Preach, yeah, but I mean they're not like political commentators.
Weird. I don't need a cloak. It just looks like a cloak. What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know. All right. Good luck.
But these aren't from Mythics, right? Sorry.
Farmlands.
I'm in South Africa to find truth.
Truth.
In a country where farming is one of the most dangerous jobs on Earth. The farm ladies are brutal.
Your music! So loud!
When I went independent, one of the main things I wanted to do was just real on the ground.
Well, I was able to get to the
Real
mall. I
stories,
had the
real people.
waypoint
I was
there,
getting
but the
so
room
sick,
carver was
so sick of the
not
drama
done yet.
behind the scenes, so sick of the talking points every day in front of the camera with the teleprompter, right? And I just wanted to cover something real. And I kept seeing
I don't have it finished. I have like
all these
I think
people
up to the
talking about
4th chapter because
genocide
that's when you
going
can
on,
get
children being tortured
mounting.
and murdered, whole families being executed, and the government covering it up. And this just seemed like, why is no one talking about this issue? You have mainstream media companies with millions of dollars in budget that are not covering this at all. I'm not seeing it anywhere. So I spoke to Kaylin and George. Didn't have much money at the time, but we had enough for flights there and back. And we were like, let's just do it. Let's go take this crazy chance, see what's going on the ground, and tell the story. So we booked those tickets, getting ready to go.
Persuade the
and I
elders
remembered
at
an
Haven.
old promise I had. Some of you will
that one's
recall
Patterns,
Faith
that's the weekly.
Goldie. We worked together at
And
Rebel
Legendary
Media. We
Assistance
had
is
a
visiting
great
the
relationship,
quartermaster.
super close friends. She was like my mentor for everything. Mainstream politics, helped me buy dresses, told me how to fashion
Patterns
myself. I taught her about internet culture and memes, and we just got along well.
Well, Patterns
but
is
when
the
I
weekly.
left
I don't need that.
Rebel, we didn't talk that much. We only talked one time in person before Farmlands was filmed. I remember telling her about my idea of wanting to go to South Africa. And we had made a pinky promise that if I went and did a
consulted.
report like this,
Oh, hey, what's up,
we would
bro?
do it together. She would come with me, and she really wanted to. And right before we left on the trip, I just remember that coming to the back of my mind and being like, I promised Faith we'd do something like this together. So I'm gonna call her up and just tell her about the trip, see if she wants to join. It's December. I was back home with my family for Christmas, and I called her that night, and she answered the phone. I told her about the trip, asked her if she wanted to come, and she just flew into a rage. It was the strangest thing. I was like, Faith, I'm inviting you on this trip to come with us. Like, if you don't want to come, that's fine, but I'm just putting it out there. And she said, no, Lauren, like, I am infuriated with you. You have betrayed me because you planned this trip behind my back.
I have to go all the way across.
And I've got my own trip to South Africa planned the next month after you. And you going to South Africa will ruin my trip. It really confused me at the time because, first of all, I thought the only thing that mattered about this was that we were going to tell this important story. We were going to tell the story of people that were being horrendously harmed, discriminated against,
like
tortured,
no
and killed, and
quests.
that was what mattered here. Not who got to the story first or what the timeline was for who was telling it. And more
Those people,
so,
that's Kool-Aid guys, okay? They were in a bad cold.
we were both planning trips.
I would have thought.
And I was the only one who
and I
held
could be
to our
wrong.
pinky
I
promise
would have
to
thought
invite
it was
the
when
others.
you did
So what,
Necrolord
I
shit,
didn't
and
understand
they-
what
one of
the
the quests is the spirits
I
of
just
the
really
mall.
didn't understand what right she had to be angry in that situation.
That's what I thought.
But she was. She
At
was
least that's how I
infuriated.
remember,
So I
'cause
tried
I
to
did-
calm her down.
the first thing I
It was
did was,
a horrible trait I had. I was such
the
a
Kyrian
pushover
shit.
with people that I was friends with in media, especially conservative media. Definitely not with the left or in public, but with my
Yeah.
conservative friends, I
'Cause
was
that's the only
such a
thing I've ever
pushover. I
been.
just wanted to
I think
keep them, keep them
Night
friends
Fae, I
with
did
me.
a bunch of
really
shit there
respected them.
'cause that's
I
for rating.
thought so highly of this movement I was a part of. I didn't want them to hate me, so I always tried to smooth things over, which caused probably more problems than it solved. But
Yeah,
I told Faith,
Necrolord's
I'm like, screw it,
Necrolord's
let's
just
just
for.
do it together. You can come on my trip. We'll figure it
Yeah,
out.
shit.
It'll be fine. And Faith eventually agreed. She said, all right,
I think
Lauren,
the number
we'll do the
one
trip
is
together.
Kyrian, but I think it's
fine.
probably
We're
situational.
okay. 3 days passed. I kept contacting her, sent her text messages, called her, sent her Twitter DMs saying, hey, I'm booking flights. Are you coming? Are you coming? And she had disappeared off the map. She wasn't responding to anything I sent. And then 3 or 4 days later, she released a video on her YouTube channel titled Faith Goldie's Exclusive Trip to South Africa. All alone, just Faith. I'm going by myself. I'm going to go uncover the truth. All of the things I had told her about that I was going to do in my documentary with her, she just published as her own little exclusive thing. I called her up and I said, hey, I thought we were doing this together. What's going on?
I'm already. I'm
she said,
tapped
"No,
out
Lauren,
today.
I'm doing
Okay,
it by
I did my
myself.
old stuff. I did a
I'm
lot of
doing
it.
the story, and if
Now
you
I'm just
tell
gonna go my
anyone you're
priest
going as
and
well,
sit
I'll
in
say
fucking
you stole the
Orbos
trip
and wait
from
for
me."
my 23 keys. Okay, I did a lot. I don't like it. It's not. It's not. Those aren't. That's
Like,
not fun.
This whole idea
but
of stealing an idea
slowly
from
but
someone
surely,
else
I
from
will
a
have it
story
ready,
that needs
I
to be
promise.
covered by as many people as possible didn't make any
started
sense
the
to me, first
process,
of all.
is what
I wouldn't
matters.
care if we both went on the trip. If she went first, if I went after, it didn't matter. It wasn't about the exclusive. It was about getting eyes
I did
on
a
this
thing.
extremely important subject. But to her,
Oh yeah, that's right.
it was about making sure it was
Need to get
Faith
my top
Goldie's
UI.
expose,
There you go.
not just an expose of the truth, but that it was Faith Goldie that got the story. And that was another one of those moments of meeting my heroes and wondering, do you actually care about any of this? Do you care about any of this? Do you care about people seeing it, or do you care about people knowing you're the one that got the story?
Telling me that.
And that was really another one of those.
I was just at work,
there's
so
much.
What do we have to do to
registering
fuck
it all,
Overlord
and then all of a sudden I just get
guys?
a call and a text. I'm like, oh.
In this political movement, so much brokenness. It really hurt. It really hurt to lose a friendship over something like that.
Did you hear? Well, yeah, I just read
Breaks my heart that you felt betrayed. I'm so sorry that you've been having the conversation by going alone. I hope you understand. I've wanted to do this with you since day one discussing it. I'm praying that you can forgive me for even contemplating the idea. Let me know when you're free to talk with me and the lads. We can include Matt as well. Let's create something amazing together. God bless. Damn.
I'm trying to have like some similar shit when it goes to my when I set up macros, like my movement for my personal characters, so like the rolls and shit like that.
But I said,
I realized that you can't jump and roll. It's only just
so upset about the whole friendship thing and Faith hating me. But eventually I went back to Kaylin and George.
Even the mechanic will fuck up.
No, like this is an important story. We need to tell it. Faith can do hers. Wish her all the success in the world. I hope as many people cover this as possible. Let's just do it. Who cares if people say we stole the trip? It doesn't matter. What matters is that it's being covered.
But a lot.
We fly out
Took
there.
a lot out of me. I'm
Land,
very tired.
Waste absolutely no time. Get in the car. We're sleeping on people's couches to make it work. Saving pennies where we can. Every single day, 24 hours working, collecting these people's stories. Just they're pouring their souls out to us, sobbing about family members that have died. We're speaking to politicians that are calling for the murder of an entire people group in this country, and no one is covering this story at this point. And we are blown away by what we are finding on the ground. Those of you who have seen Farmlands, obviously, you know. And of course, as soon as we published our first video on the ground in South Africa, all the
It's weird realizing that there are age.
Tweeting out, Lauren stole this video. This was Faith's idea. This, that, and the other. But
I thought Shroud was like
I'm thankful that at the time it was just such noise to us when we were there in person, actually doing the work, right? So I didn't care that much.
Given up on wanting to be.
We were talking to one of the farmers.
Pro gamer.
Who, out of nowhere, asked us, "Do you know who Faith?"
I just feel like my mental
I'm
goes
pretty sure
fucking
I've seen
haywire.
You guys in videos together. She's supposed to be
like
coming
I can
out
fixate
here
on it,
in
but like
a few
I'll
weeks
just
and filming with us, and we haven't gotten contact from her. Do you think you could get in contact?
Because I'll be
with
hyper
for us,
focused.
We've got this huge
I'll be
drill planned. We've invited all
I'll want to do better, so I'm hyper analytical, and it just becomes like
spent all this money to make this happen, and we really want this story to be told by as many people as possible. Do you know?
It is fun.
Faith Goldie, she's not responding anymore. She's ghosted us.
I think one of my buddies in COD was like, "You miss doing wagers and tourneys."
I told him, I think she's
a different
coming.
type of high.
I hope she's coming.
Like,
I don't really know.
Yeah, me getting like my
when
3K
I got home,
was like, oh sick. That was like my
doing that drill.
Like KSM
Faith never
was a nice
up.
little bump because I was like, I didn't know if I could make it within one season.
Farmers took their time off,
purely pugging it.
Tell their
and then
story.
The 3K was like sick.
And she
then,
didn't
like every 100 has been like
because she
like,
couldn't
cool,
have the
nice.
exclusive.
Awesome. I made it 3,200.
She made up some bullshit reason on Twitter
and it's just been like
saying I couldn't go because my security
less and less. And I mean, I imagine when it gets to like next season when I'm trying to push hero and shit, that'll be a bit different. But that's more like an arena season. You're constantly pushing to be within the top 0.5% or 0.1%.
Compromised. And then told her cameraman, a guy named Millennial Matt, to publicly tweet out that the security was compromised by me and my team.
Like leaderboards,
I'll be doing all that stuff. Stolen her security.
COD was just nice. When they dropped my first 30 bomb, I was hyped.
And that's why she couldn't go to the country and do the documentary she planned on doing.
When I did well in tournaments, I was hyped.
Obviously,
even when I did well in tournaments and lost, I was hyped.
We couldn't have afforded security if we wanted
it.
Not only that,
when that wasn't happening, it was cancer. Pure cancer.
We left out things that we didn't film for Farmlands because people told us, oh, we want to show that to Faith. And we thought she should have some exclusives too. We want her project to do well as well.
Actually, the 1 week or the one season in ESCA that I played with you, David, and
because
Devin.
she could not have the exclusive.
That was probably the biggest eye opener for me. Like I probably am not suited for competitive play. Just,
I sit there and
I don't
watch
bring a
these
good
people
atmosphere.
On social media talk all day
I just
about,
don't.
I want to help my people. I want to save the West.
I think you guys
farmers,
are very good
I truly care
at,
about them deeply.
separating.
And as soon as it gets
and
down
not
to
getting
brass
too
tacks
angry about
of,
it.
oh, you might have to share the story, that's too much. That's too much. The only
But
people who lost
you've also
out in
been a
this
professional, so that's
were
the
the farmers
difference.
on the ground who didn't get their story told as much, who showed up and took weeks off work to go and help Faith, who ghosted them. Those are the only people who lose out on this. Who cares if there's kids being boiled in a bathtub if Faith Goldie can't have the exclusive and get the
but I
numbers
think
for
still
getting it
you're-
first?
It's not like you got there solo.
It made
You did it
me
in
so
squads.
angry, and it still makes me so angry to this day that was what was so important to people. That was what was so important to way too many people that I worked with. And publicly, you know, for their audiences, they make up all these
Everyone
lies and
always is,
reasons
dude.
of why.
You want me
Painful,
to
really painful.
queue with you?
And getting back and obviously seeing on Twitter
I'll play a
repeatedly,
couple- I'll do a
specifically
couple and then
Faith's
I'll,
cameraman, tweet and
get
tweet and
tired.
tweet saying Lauren is a fraud, she's lying, she
fires.
tried to get us killed, because
I'll lock it
Matt
in.
was genuinely upset too, her cameraman. He genuinely believed they were going to go help these white farmers. And the only reason they couldn't do that was because I had tried to sabotage their whole trip. And it wasn't until many hours of conversation with her cameraman and
You just
sending
put
him all the
shares until it's like
information
a
that
15
he
or something.
realized, oh, Faith is lying to me.
Not sure how fast we'll do it, but hopefully we get.
Thank you for not just
poggers.
blocking me and trying to get my side. I do appreciate it. This is all honestly news to me, and it has me question a lot of what I've been told by Faith, including weird personal information about you that I am not sure is even true. I'll delete the South Africa tweets, Lauren. I was misled. Thank you, Matt. I really appreciate it. Still trying to reach out to Faith, figure out what's going on, because it's super out of character for her. And I'm glad at the very least this.
That's one thing I don't
This
like.
is why you got to
learning
take
about
the
a
D
new class
approach.
is, like,
Okay, when people
not
start doing
only
weird
learning
fucking
the
shit, you just
rotation
don't trust them
properly,
ever.
but then
there
also
is no
learning
seeking
how to
clarification
optimize
or
it
I don't know what
within
they're doing. I know
mechanics
they're
that I'm aware
doing
of.
some weird, selfish, fucking shit.
Figuring out new mechanics
Thank
I
you
was unaware
for
of
saving
because,
the
like,
SBS with
obviously
I
me
was told to
being
keep it rubbish,
melee
and I feel
would be,
silly
like,
for
a
ever
whole
leaving this first
different
place.
thing.
I apologize. Any drama? My tweets.
Are you trying to gear?
That's what I think you deserve
too. Like, are you trying to find gear within this?
Also, wait.
Okay, because I'll probably try to plate stack for some stupid shit.
What's going on, guys? Is the USD just getting way too strong, or is the euro losing a lot of value?
Hood
That's
gaze
pretty
on.
fucking wild. Not good, guys.
He is on.
I don't see how anyone can be friends with YouTube drama / news channels. I mean, don't you have to trust your friends? Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't trust any.
He's 1800. That's why.
These guys are all wild.
Oh, I'll take that.
Check the pound.
Get some plate in there. Then we need a tank.
Yikes.
I'm trying to get a plate tank.
This had nothing to do about security being stolen. This had nothing to do with money being stolen or whatever. This was entirely just her not wanting to go for clout reasons. And Matt actually apologized to me eventually, which was really nice. But still, to this day, I'll meet people that were like mutuals in politics with Faith and I, and this is something that happens so often is people would poison everyone in the political movement against you. They'd say, oh, I don't know if I want to work with you, Lauren. Faith Goldie told me you stole her security and trip. No facts, nothing. She'd just say that to everyone she spoke to. And I had so many people poisoned against me over that. And
Tell me in Discord.
It takes a long time to undo that. You know, it's easy to
Good.
roll out a mat of lies. Rolling it back up is much harder. And again, this isn't about me. This isn't about the drama I went through in the background. This is about the fact that there are farmers in South Africa that did not get their story told, that took time off work, life, to be there,
Tell him
to
it's
show up,
unaccepted if he doesn't.
that were ghosted because of the nonsense that went on behind the scenes in this conservative
Second's
movement.
taking too long.
Because,
I
or
don't like it.
right wing, whatever that we called it at the time.
He's being a
I don't
sussy
even know.
little baka.
But because of the selfishness, the fact that so much of this 2016 alternative right, dissident right movement was so coded in selfishness, narcissism, cult of personality, and none of it was about helping people. It was about how will latching onto this person's struggle potentially boost my career. How will latching onto the deaths of these people boost my career? I'm not talking about the people who watch these videos. I'm not talking about the people covered in these videos. I'm talking about the people at the top. The people
First
the
off,
regular conservatives, you guys, the
fucking
viewer
rogue. I
that
actually
followed
did
me
a
from
courtesy and
2016,
I
you're the
messaged him
victim of this
before
all.
I booted him and I said, hey,
This isn't
IRL
the
buddy,
right
he's
wing or
coming.
bad.
I
This
have to
isn't
boot
my
you.
why I
And
left
booted
the
him.
right video.
He's like, hey,
It is.
it'd be nice to know before you kick me. I was like, bitch, I did. Like, what are you talking about?
I'm very conservative still.
I was like, I actually
cannot
100%
not
did, but
point out how toxic and sick this was. I can't, because if no one talks about it, then you just sweep things under the rug and it continues going on toxic and sick. And you have all of these people that rely on their favorite figures that they've given so much money and influence to help them, and they wonder why we're never moving forward. Why is nothing changing? Well, a lot of that money, influence, power, and faith people are putting in people is getting squandered away due to ego. And if we can't recognize that, then no one, if no one's honest about what the problems are, we have no shot of ever fixing it.
Hood gay. Is that Hood gay? What's up, baby? Got the legend. You're getting PI treatment this whole dungeon, so have fun with that. Hopefully you also kick. We'll find out in the next episode.
Edit Farmlands, which is a massive project. Release it, and it is so many eyes on this issue. People were just enthralled with what was happening in South Africa. Emotional, heartbroken. It's getting reported on everywhere. Everyone starts talking about this issue. Millions of views. Tucker Carlson, Donald Trump tweets about white farmers in South Africa. The Australian government come out and say they're considering taking them in as refugees.
Next season. He's going for hero. He's going gladiator, hero, and he's going to be the top 1% in battle packs. He told me.
It's not just rumors anymore. And I remember sitting there thinking,
I think it would be such a troll to actually do that, but it'd be like the best.
I want to take it on
It would actually be unironically the funniest troll. Like, go up to somebody with gladiator mount and be like, yo, bitch, I bet you don't even have fucking top 1%. I'm literally ranked 1 in battle pets. Get fucked.
Australia, who really seem to care about this issue since their government are potentially going to pass policies to help these farmers. Of course,
I just never want that on my search history. What are the meta battle pets?
Milo, they worked with Peterson.
It's not something I would ever be proud of. True.
Have you ever listened to South African stuff? I did for a period of time. It seems like there's like a lot relating to that that's like very hard to sit through unless you're willing to take through a lot of
I almost got you. He has up an 8.
So some people would say that a lot of the crimes that were being committed had been pushed under the rug.
What's your?
It seemed like there was some truth to that a little bit. But then it seemed like
just gotta face tank as many things as possible.
Yeah, there are definitely problems.
I didn't know this is that.
Wanted to say that every single farmer that got killed.
Is that? Can you even cloak that off? Is that a thing?
Narrative, when in reality, in South
you
Africa,
can. Wow, that's broken.
There's a lot of crime. A lot of these things which apparently isn't that uncommon in South Africa in some parts that people will kill you.
What's your?
So you were getting this weird thing where it seemed like there were some.
I'm gonna put right here. Everyone's gonna face tank it.
Going on, but for the people that were willing to address the issues going on the far right, they were saying that every single farmer death was like, this is an example of white Trump's.
What's your?
I'm just gonna put it right in the middle. I don't even care. I can heal it.
In terms of which side was more correct, I'm not sure.
Hopefully this guy's based as fuck in those
a lot of people
little corner pocket and stuff couldn't pull.
Concrete opinion on it, but those were some of the.
What's your?
Oh, 7 of them. 7 of them.
Screen your documentary in every city. And I remember thinking, like, my film will premiere all over Australia, all over this major country, massive newspapers, politicians talking about it. Think of the impact that'll have on policy.
Oh, he's going
Think
that
of the
way.
impact that will have on these farmers living there.
I realize now, like, that corner. After the last 23 I did, or I think it was 22. I don't know, but I think it was a 23 we failed. But this opening is so ass. Like, those hurlers will actually fuck you up. We're still in.
I'm trying to remember the exact wording. It was something
How'd you
along the
pronounce
lines
that?
of, if you go to Australia.
I was gonna say, do you not have the text for this? But you don't.
Sanguine?
Sweetie, I wish you had told me about your Australia plans. Just push you the dates.
I was just wondering. I was wondering if that went from meme to reality or sanguine. Oh, he's actually repolling.
Lose some deposits. One of my favorite abuse tactics.
How do you say it? Shut the fuck up.
Not to say that, but like, I shouldn't say abuses. I should say people that are people that can fuck people over. So people will always try to frame things in ways that I'm doing you a favor. I'm just trying to help you here.
Poggers?
It'll be good for you.
This is the high count. We're gonna actually, you know what? No,
Oh,
I should have it back.
My tour is going
it's
to
not like...
wildly outsell yours, and then you're going to be resentful and hate.
I got this over here.
And I remember looking back and just thinking,
Pow.
I don't
Yep,
care.
yeah, run it.
My tour is fine. I'm just going there to premiere my movie. I'm going there to meet people.
Oh, we're gonna do it in the sanguine.
It'll be great. Like, you do your thing.
Okay, that's more DPS. They have too little life.
Like, all that mattered was the numbers, the competing numbers. Who was going to be bigger? If mine was potentially going to be bigger, then I had to join his or cancel mine altogether. And I just said,
oh wow, wait! I wonder if she still thinks that. I don't have.
We're gonna do a giga
I
poll.
don't have the same background she does.
For
but
this
that,
fucking.
That message didn't sound like one of concern for
literal omega
you know, competing numbers and doing better. I think it sounded like he was worried about her
spear.
cannibalizing.
We're gonna pull multiple platforms.
That's what it came off as.
Dude, I actually found, watching MDI the other day, I found like the funniest oh wait, we don't even have a tank. But I found the funniest fucking skip that I saw on MDI, and it cracked me up because I never would have ever considered it. No, it was in Theater of Pain. So like the platform, like route that you have to go from platform to platform to platform before you finish at the last boss.
I thought it was great.
They went to the second platform with Woe and they jumped off to the Bone Reavers. They just like completely skipped like 3 platforms, but they jumped off. But it's such a far drop. I was like, how the fuck did you guys not die? And I think they ended up having like some sort of slow fall mechanic with them. But I was just dying laughing because I was like, you just see them all like full commit, like they pull the 2 on the platform and they snap them down to the fucking Bone Reaver, and I'm like cracking up, like what the fuck? Who thinks? Like, was that an accident? And somebody was like, no, this is a legitimate strat. We're gonna start doing.
Is no, it's not happening. Fucking ridiculous. This is my tour. That means
there was, yeah, I think somebody ended up. There was a.
No one
I think
else.
the craziest one was actually Theater of Pain. I think it was like a 10
You
minute
need to
Theater
get
of
used
Pain,
to
which
it.
is kind of.
I didn't steal his.
They had Woe every.
I
They didn't. I didn't think they had. They had Urs only on bosses.
But more
Oh
importantly,
no, they didn't even have an Urs. They had for Zav. We should pull them all. You should pull them all.
I joined this political movement because I cared about the issues. I wanted to tell people about them. I wanted as much exposure for them as possible. I truly, truly cared about telling real stories and changing culture. And yet again, I am surrounded by a bunch of people where all they care about is ensuring they are the star of the show, ensuring that they are the only one that gets the exposure, the only one that gets any...
Pull. You got misdirect.
I wonder...
You have tricks of the trade. Use it.
Technology has been shifted by like 80 years or something. Can you imagine? Like, could you imagine Hitler trying to build the Third Reich and he's got like all these super strong, like I broke Mein Kampf, I'm gonna kill these people. But you find out that Goebbels is literally just some guy on Instagram. He's like, yeah, bro, like dude, fuck the Jews and all that shit. But like behind the scenes, he's like chilling with Jews. He's like super cool with them, and it's like it's just some crazy shit he says on social. Like it would, there's got to be a movie idea in there somewhere. That would be some fucking hilarious shit. It's like Hitler trying to build like the Third Reich out to Germany, but everybody around him
Mega chat, dude.
They don't actually get that.
That slice of the pie. They all just want the biggest slice of the pie, and they are willing to pick everyone out, anyone out, no matter how good your work is, no matter how important
just
it is.
a baby.
Gone to the curb. Fuck the white.
You should
farm.
actually go full no tank. 4 DPS, 1 healer.
I can have the exposure. No one can.
No, you've done the 4 no healer. You've done the 1 tank no healer.
I've got farmlands to show. people to meet, people to talk to, a lot of fans that are expecting to show up, get on that plane, land in Brisbane, and I am stoked to start tour day one. I'll never forget day one of that trip, walking into the Brisbane airport, wearing an It's Okay to Be White t-shirt, and it's showing up all over the media.
Very provocative.
Everywhere in Australia. And I just knew this was going to be.
Why does she?
I've actually wanted to try
have
and
the
mind control
provocative
something
shirt?
when it's in
Where-
sanguine to
Why
prevent
would
it
she
from
wear the
being healed
provocative
and actually
shirt?
kill it that way.
But then,
But I don't know if that's how it works. I think it would be a really cool mechanic if it
why
works that way, but I don't
both?
think it does.
Are you trying to be undercover, or are you trying to get people pissed? I don't understand.
Incredible experience. I was so nervous getting on stage. I stayed up
Shockwave.
all night practicing.
Face
the
thinking,
speech,
Liddy.
and I was sitting there with Taylor, and we had an apple, and we throw it back and forth. I do a line, and I throw him the apple. And it was
Oh my god, should I give him PI because he wins?
Still, despite all the practice I did all night, I was shaking before getting
There it
on
is.
stage. I hadn't done that much public speaking, mostly in front of the camera. Walked up there, looked
As an
at the
outlaw,
staff,
Rogue, what's your offensive cooldown?
showed up. And I remember the
Adrenaline rush?
buses had been attacked by Antifa, the highway was
Watch
shut
your
down,
step.
there were protesters, and we had gotten multiple
Maybe
credible
you should
death
just
threats that
do
police
more
warned
then.
us about of people who wanted to come to the show and kill us. So Spawn and I were a bit nervous about that. Perimeter, dogs.
Wow, that choke. What?
Unfortunately, there's a medical conference going on in the other room, and these people leaving the medical conference are being berated and yelled at by these protesters.
I wish one of you guys was tank. That way I
It
could
did
see.
somewhat eventuate.
Oh shit!
If,
I don't know if this is true, but I heard that in
That way I could see if
I've heard that in some countries
the mechanic somebody was
I don't know if it's in
explaining
the US,
in a
that,
29
like,
key to
certain products would have to label
Liquid
themselves
Max
as like
was,
we are not Russian
for
products
this
because
boss
like the
coming
text
up,
or whatever will look similar.
you
to
could
the, is it
force him
Cyrillic
to
that Russian is
cast
written in?
spells by
Some people
your
would, like,
movement as a
vandalize
tank.
or like not buy shit because they think it's Russian. But it would
Yeah,
just
so that's why I was like,
It would
bro,
just be some
that seems
other,
so
like,
fucking
use of your
broken. You could
features
just
of the
insta
country.
drain him of all of his anima to like rush a
Multiple
key.
people tried to rush the stage, my first speech down in Australia. But luckily we had these massive security guards.
Don't talk to me.
Protections. I think they were Maori guys. They like dragged the social
Stop
justice
looking at me.
warrior off stage, kicking and screaming and howling like it was possessed. And the crowd just went wild, standing in hatred, cheering, hooting laughter. It
I'm
was.
gonna
It
ego
felt
chow the fuck
amazing.
out of this alien.
Just
Son of a
smiling on that stage and laughing and cracking jokes with everyone there. And a lot of them had just watched Farmlands in the other room before the show started.
He has a lot of. He probably has a character on every class.
Amazing!
Unironically.
Show starting soon. And then when it ended, I got to sit at a desk and shake
He is a
everyone's
right
hand.
streamer.
Maybe some of you watching this now were there at the show, shaking my hand.
It's fair.
saying
Oh, you
hello,
missed the
taking
tank.
pictures. I love that. I love
Taking
that.
pictures.
I love meeting
Oh,
you
he's
guys
fighting.
and showing you my movie.
Watch
So
your
I was just
step.
leaving a show in Perth, and this lovely girl named Jocelyn
And
brought me a gift bag and a note and said I saved her from feminism and it's came back.
You're good.
And she's literally gorgeous.
Oh
now.
my god.
Good job, Jocelyn. Thank you.
We went to. It was just day after day, getting on a plane, sleeping for 4 hours.
I like how he's just
all night,
running with
doing
him.
Photos, doing media. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of work. I was exhausted. I had nearly lost my mind by the end
Ready,
of the
set,
trip.
go.
I have no idea how I'm still awake. The event actually
Where'd he
went amazing.
Where'd he go?
Antifa didn't shut it down. They got
Where'd he go?
scared away by police on horses. A few people tried to come on the stage, but they were stopped.
There's a headline in the Australian right now.
Wow, he's so nice. He actually bought me.
It says, woman tries to tackle Lauren on stage. Protesters tried to destroy event. And I'm the dangerous individual.
Wild.
What do you mean?
Actually
What did you say?
wild. Oh, okay. That's you. Okay, you don't even want to save it for his phase, dude?
2 a.m. Then we get home
Wow.
and flight at like 7 a.m.
Wow. You think we're gonna drain his anima and what? What's adrenaline rush? 2 minutes?
Watch your step.
Keelan, what are you doing in my room?
Does it actually
doing in my
reduce
room?
face off spells? That's based.
What are you doing
That's
in my
so
room?
based. I only say that because of what I played in Classic. That's so based.
Keelan. But it also.
I wanted to like. So I can't do it by running under him. That doesn't work. It has to be the tank. That's so stupid.
Sydney, but I watched.
Watch your step.
I'm gonna put it right here. Yeah, walk into it, bitch.
And it was that moment that I was like, this was all worth it.
Spread.
This was all worth it. This whole shit.
That's how I feel like when I make girls cry.
Where'd it go?
Oh. You know what? It was a long journey, but
it's actually unfair. Shit's rigged.
And then after the fourth show, the tour organizers were very chaotically disorganized. It was a mess. Quite frankly, Kaylin pretty much ran the show. At that point, we walked into one of the auditoriums, and there were no chairs there. And I remember
What did he
Kaylin, the
overpull?
tour organizers,
That's my
were
question.
saying, "Where are
We're like
the chairs?"
4% over.
And he had to go source them and find chairs for everyone. It was crazy how disorganized this tour organizer.
Oh, that one. Yeah, you're right. I thought. True, because I have a spear.
And then one morning,
Let's see if you can actually evenly kill him, though.
Fourth show, we get a message from the organizers, and they ask us to come down to a meeting room.
You're like, no, I'm gonna hyper burst one,
and
then
mother, security. I brought my mother.
It's just the way it
Very
is.
cute. And Stefan, his wife, we all go down to the meeting room.
Oh, he's actually no. Pull the right one.
Tell us they ran out of money.
Get the other one. Get the other one. Pull it over.
It's all gone. Nothing. Zero. No money left. The tour made $500,000.
Oh, what? What is that jump?
You know, like, I don't know how.
Oh, that one's definitely not dying at the same time. No shot, bro. Okay. Good luck, good luck, good luck. I have the heals. I got everyone covered. You're fine. Everyone, even.
ATM machines, spending tons of money on alcohol, running off.
Oh, we're Pogger gamers, dude.
Sean and I were staying up late making the show happen. My mother was doing tour manager stuff that she never did.
Yeah, go.
We were basically scrapping things together at 3 a.m. to make this show happen. And then to find out on that day that all of the money was gone, and all of our hard work and sleepless nights, none of it was going to get paid for.
He's got a civic spoiler.
I told my mother that I was going to pay her for coming along with me.
Find shelter.
Think I can tank it?
I didn't want to let anyone down. I told them, okay, what money do we have left here? We need to make sure the security are paid. We need to make sure all the support staff are paid. We need to make sure everyone
Phase
involved in this is
change.
paid.
Burst it.
Stefan agreed.
Yeah.
Stand up back with them.
Yeah, baby, yeah.
Both said, don't pay us for any of our
No, indeed.
speeches. None of
3 right, 2 left.
all of the support
Run
staff
it.
are paid.
Compared to. I'm sorry. Do you remember the time when multi-millionaire streamer Hassan was like, "You guys are gonna pay me back for the gun range, right?" Couldn't have cost. I don't even think it was $10,000 for that.
Is anyone doing it?
Oh man, that was probably one of the dumbest
I was like, is anybody actually doing it though?
in my entire life. That somebody
I was like, I don't see the spear, but
to say that at all, let alone on screen.
Just
What a mind.
making sure he accounted for the win.
And for the
Did it end up being 4K? Wait,
True.
really that cheap? I think I guessed it would have been like 6 to 8 based on what they were renting.
Does
Find shelter.
Yeah, and then they try to play it off because they all
see?
like.
I know his name on
deck.
fucking BNet, but I forgot his name on actual like
He was
classic.
just joking with us. It was a joke. Like they're all being like,
Shaman,
oh,
C money.
rest of it, okay, you're out of
Phase
money, no more money
change.
for flights to
Burst
the
him.
shows. Well,
Burst him.
People have already paid for their tickets to come see us. People have already paid for their tickets for farmlands, all this stuff.
You guys didn't burst. You guys, everyone blows. Just jump off. Just jump off.
Paid to make the rest of the show go on.
We didn't one phase. No point.
Just happened.
Somebody just messaged me and said right now Hassan is on leftovers. Greg.
He was a shaman in classic. What am I? Who am I thinking of?
This is
Phase change.
Oh, you weren't in Donkeys. Fuck. And Poe, you don't know. Actually, fuck.
And like that.
He was in Donkeys. That's how it plays.
I don't say that to be like, oh, look at what a good person.
3 chesting. Oh my god. And we got
This is what
Gambit.
matters.
not right now, but
Anybody need a cloak?
Tickets to those shows.
Crit haste?
Farmlands, getting as many people to see that as possible. It was not about, oh, am I going to outsell Milo Yiannopoulos and get more money? Am I going to get really crazy numbers on everything? The numbers only matter because I want people to see the story. not because I'm gonna make money.
I don't understand the backstory. Why is it ridiculous that he asks for his money back? Did he pay for everyone to go to the gun range or something? It's the the funny thing is that like how do I?
We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that gambit, right? The Gambito,
Fellow member
bro.
of the upper middle class.
I'm gonna
or upper
find a
class? I don't know
giga
where my
tank.
income puts me at now. If you're going out with a bunch of friends to an event, I feel like it would be a pretty big social faux pas to be making so much money.
Sanguine
and then to, like, at
Fortino?
that particular point
We could do
in
that
time,
too.
Bring up like, hey, you're gonna pay me back for this, right? Or am I getting paid?
Sanguine.
Like, if you make
Yeah, let's do
that
push one
much
more time
money,
and then we'll do the Sanguino.
like, dropping
We'll push
$5,000
that
or
up to a
$10,000
20.
is not a big deal
Easy.
for an event, where you're
I
also
don't think
streaming
I've-
and making a fuck. Like, he probably made that money back in his day, at least, right?
Oh, we're gonna real pump.
How much of this do you?
You might
actually
have
believe?
your
I mean,
PI privileges revoked on that one if he goes on his lock.
I'm tempted to say, well, why we should get on camera and lie about all of this,
Big,
but I've
huge
seen
pumperinos,
I've
dude.
fed my story. I've seen
We
do
got the
dumb
Gambito
shit in the past.
plus
I feel like she could use more receipts in this. Like there could be like more text messages or whatever to prove parts of the narrative. She could be lying about things. I mean, I don't know. I would expect her not to, but I mean, I'm always gonna be cautious.
You were there
these
yesterday.
days.
That's
People
where I
lie
saw
about,
you.
like,
Or the
insane
day
shit
before.
all the time.
So you got it.
But
it's easy. Easy money.
I mean, I would hope she's lying about it.
We're like,
but then also,
right
like,
as the fucking
when I'm looking
expansion
at, like,
got
some of the
announced,
people
you're like,
she's
you know
talking
what? I need to now do revered.
Like almost anybody could come to me and say, like, Milo Yiannopoulos, like, a huge
265 is only gonna last me another 7 months. You know what? Now I need to do it.
He invited everyone out to the gun range to stream for content.
Seems rational. Seems reasonable.
Well, not exactly that. I think they all agreed to do a gun stream, and it sounded like he was the one that used his card at the time to like secure it or put down the deposit or something. And it wasn't 100% clear who was going to be filming or who was.
What
going
would
to
be even
for what,
funnier
I
is
guess.
if you were like
But he was-
not
so he was
playing
trying
that.
to
You didn't even
check
have a
at the
sub
end
to
and
it,
he
and then
was
all of a
gonna
sudden you
get
heard the
back. He was gonna put
expansion
it-
happen. You're like, time to resub.
just,
Gotta get revered. Fuck it.
that-
Gotta get KSM and revered, dude.
Just when you're making that much money, it just seems like such an inconsequential thing to care about, especially when you're making that much money that day, streaming it.
Sounds pretty.
It was just it seemed like really tactless.
Sounds pretty based.
And I didn't complain about it.
Something that needs to understand. Yeah, I don't know how else to explain.
Got ourselves a little,
especially bringing it up on
a
stream.
little
I
bit
didn't
of.
make a video talking about how hard done by I was by the tour. In fact, Stefan and I sat down and we said, we don't want this to overshadow how important this moment was. We don't want this to overshadow this crazy cultural media shift we effected in Australia. So we just won't talk about it. We won't tell anyone.
Yeah,
we didn't get paid for anything. We won't sit there and try to claw back every bit of money back from these organizers,
you would
hire
probably say
lawyers,
it.
go after them litigiously. Never did any of that.
I don't even know
just
how to
moved
pronounce
forward,
that weirdly.
Worked on my videos again and went off to make another big documentary. That was what was important. Not about getting back
the
to
IT
people
is silent.
who had wronged me or whatever. Genuinely, I don't know what has happened with their lives. I hope those tour organizers are doing fine, moving on. Obviously not great. Hope they don't do that to anyone else.
Give me somebody who's either a
none of
Smurf
that stuff
or
was
overgeared.
ever
I don't
what
want
was
like a
important.
barely geared
Now we're at
person.
the everyone arc in Lauren's life, and I need a break for water. Ooh, I did not like people at this point. If that's what it's all
Or like, yeah, people that are just valor farming. When I was actually like trying to go for specific bis items, and I was just valor farming in the meantime, I would literally only do 3s, only like 3s, because there's only one affix. It's only tyrannical or fortified. That's the only affix you got.
Bottom right now, like rock bottom.
The rock bottom where everything's funny.
The only thing that could make this worse is if we were dying.
Yeah.
From the moment we're born, we're dying, guys.
Meeting going on beside us, all these men in business suits, and they're probably like, "Oh, like classy young
How's that
ladies." And then, like 5 minutes later, it's devolved into like cleaning.
Yeah, I was doing because JJ over here convinced me to
point,
try and make an
obviously,
alt.
I am like,
So I think I got like
I'm not gonna associate with any of
2
these people I can't
seconds
trust
into
anymore.
trying to
I need
make
just
it, and then I
hunker
realized
down,
like,
have
God,
people that
this
are
is
good
so
around me,
fucking
people that
boring.
want to do real work and aren't just sitting here doing infighting and drama and clawing.
I actually
for more
fucking
things.
hate it.
So,
Like, I think
I make a video saying, listen, I'm done.
I don't understand it. And you know what's funny? Jay just figured out that he could have had 291s on all of his alts.
Oh my god.
He
why we're
just
having
figured that
conversations.
out.
It seems like you're being a bad fit.
So he actually did it the hard way.
That must be the case. Copium.
With YouTube, I'm just doing documentaries. That's it. What's the biggest issue at this
On
moment?
phone calls,
The
you
cultural
know.
peak, the mass
It is what it is.
exodus of people over the Mediterranean, from Turkey, from Morocco.
Yeah,
Who is
that's
covering
not-
that on the ground?
even like
Who is actually
I would much rather
looking
just like
at it from the starting
chill,
points?
like
Who's
a
going
Vil.
to Turkey
You know,
to where these
you
people are
picking up what I'm
beginning to
you
walk,
reading what I'm
to get on
writing.
boats? No one is covering that.
You
It's
smell 'em
all
I'm
just the
farting?
mainstream media with all of their crazy slants saying every single person coming in is a refugee. There's no bad
Stinky
people,
poo-poo guy.
no ISIS members, no economic migrants, and if you question any of this, you're a bigot.
Okay,
Of course,
so
that's
is
never
it
the
just
full
me?
story,
I've
and
I've
Galen
seen a
Jordan
lot
and
of
I wanted to cover
streamers
it the proper
and
way with
even
some
gamers,
real
like
nuance
competitive
and
gamers, use
investigation.
earbuds. Am I fucking crazy
Make
to
a
think
pitch,
how
tell
fucking
everyone
annoying
we're
that would
filming
be?
Borderless.
And what are we working on?
Yeah, well, it feels like it would be uncomfortable, and like the second I only said
It's gonna
for
be
some odd reason, yeah, the
really
sex.
good, and it's not porn.
The second one of those suctions comes out for any reason, it's fucked. Like then you have to readjust, and like whereas like a headphone's like,
Yeah,
oh,
wonderful
what
donations
suction?
from I'm sure a lot of people who are still subscribed and watching, and thank you so much. Like that meant a lot. That
What
people
do you need
still
a pop
believed
for?
in me
And you're on
wanted
Tyke,
me
I
to
can't.
keep doing documentaries, even if I wasn't doing YouTube as much. And get on a plane. Head to
what-
Greece, where they've
what
got one
pot
of
do
the
you
largest migrant camps in the world.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Moria.
Because you're on a different server.
On a flight soon, but I figured I'd just kind of show you my packing so far. The boys needed a bunch of equipment,
Yeah, somebody
extra
go-
propellers and batteries for the drone.
Even the boxes and stuff are black. Lauren, you need more color in your wardrobe.
Or batteries for the Ronin. If you don't know what the Ronin is, it's like a
I think he's on the other side.
it's that thing that holds the camera that makes
But
sure
he's a
it's
2K
all
alt,
steady
so it's
shots.
like he should know. Just fucking come to the
So
other
wait, we're gonna
side.
put chocolate bars on the
About
end.
that.
This is George's
True,
fitness plan.
but he's 1600.
Yeah. I'm going on a
Doing 3
ridiculously
chests.
long trip, and I
2
managed to fit
chests, so
all
it's
my
like, you know,
clothes.
I'm imagining
in
it's a
Get on a boat,
legitimate 2K.
take it over to
and it's on
Turkey.
another tank.
And I'll never forget those nights we spent patrolling the shores,
I'll just
speaking to
fart
all
on
of farmers
the
at
other
3
side.
a.m., sitting
What are
in
you
a
looking
car
Look at you,
until 7 a.m.
not
until
deviant
sunrise,
delighted.
trying to stay awake, having
Cringe.
coffees, pushing each other.
You want to see if you want to 1v1 this guy on see who deserves you or this hunter?
Is she considering the?
See, I'm not gonna PI. You're gonna straight up him. If you win, if you get the top DPS on this poll, and Poe.
They're arguing about which camera is hacked.
Dude, you're getting fucking put in the dirt. God. What is happening?
Because some of these traffickers have AK-47s, guns, but we are like determined.
Oh yeah, I'm assuming you have to like slice and dice and shit.
We're insane people. Turkey, like, they jail more journalists than North Korea. If you get arrested in Turkey, you are done. And we're sitting there, going on migrant trafficking routes, walking with them.
So
filming
I guess
them,
he
getting
gets.
ourselves majorly implicated. And we did actually eventually get arrested.
I'm just here for the memes, bro.
Jail. That is a story. Watch your feet. Gosh, we were idiots, but we were idiots for the cause. We were idiots that really believed in what we were
Were you
doing.
trying to catch that one?
So we get our reports in Turkey, and we decide we're going to go head up further
Omega
down
pole,
the border
Omega
and
pole,
check out
Omega
different
pole, Omega pole.
locations.
Yep, yep.
It would have been ridiculous o'clock driving the car, and Kaylin looks at me and says something that really took me back. Like, Warren, I need to go back. We're in the middle of it.
Bam!
He says, I need to go move.
Watch your feet.
Obviously, I am very taken aback. If you don't know who Coconut Cake is, I, of course, do, because I've had many run-ins with them. One, they got me banned
Why is that one skill
and
button just
they
being
got
a
my
dick?
Patreon account taken down by
Fuck,
lots
he's
of
just
the organization.
casting sticks. Not aggroed at all to anything.
About getting my
What a
Patreon
dick.
taken down. So I was very aware of this group. They're nefarious acts. Not great guys. Ruined
Watch
many
your
lives of people I enjoyed, and my own. So I'm like, Kaylin, why do you have to meet with Hope Not Hate? What is going on here? He tells
should,
me this
pull the one on the
organization
right,
are
too.
blackmail, essentially. They are threatening both him and George.
Bam!
Bam!
We're just gonna not kick anything. Okay. Or not. I can't. You just can't kick it.
Freedom. We connected them with the rise of hatred.
He's not gonna do anything about anything.
Watch your feet. Robinson and make it work for me. And that
We're just
they're
not
going
doing
to use all this
anything.
information to get them jailed, questioned, put on lists so that they can't travel anymore unless they come and speak to me. and give them information.
Oh, we're gonna do a big one.
They're
Get
a
everything.
very
Get both
persuasive
Murlocs.
Organization, and because they're non-government, they can get up to all sorts of nefarious stuff. I absolutely.
Okay, well, I'm gonna do it because we have to pull them anyway. Get fucking
They're being
based,
threatened.
idiot.
I absolutely believe that. I've met with Hope Not Hate once myself.
We're hardcore gaming
A
now.
lot of you know, but you don't know the actual context. Bam! Earlier
I got it.
right after
I'm on
my
stakes.
Patreon,
Don't worry.
I was invited to
Dodge him.
and I accepted it under the sole condition that I called multiple friends in politics. I called Pettibone and told her about it, and then I called a journalist at Breitbart and told him I was meeting with them, and I intended to record the entire meeting to try to expose that Hope Not Hate had in fact.
All the mechanics. All the mechanics.
Patreon were not being so upfront about having been lobbied, and they didn't want to admit that it was a NGO that pressured them rather than their own policy. So we met to.
See? Jesus, hold on. This guy keeps saying in chat. Destin, I'm too scared to answer right now. You guys say a lot about this, but you certainly would agree that Islam is the worst religion. I don't think I would make a stereotypical statement about all Islam. It's a religion of like fucking 2 billion people. Much the same I wouldn't make a stereotypical statement about like Christianity.
Trusty Road here.
Christianity is good or bad. Like, religious faiths, one, have tons of different sub-disciplines, what do you call it, denominations within them, and then even within the denominations, different people act in different ways. So no, I'm not. If you're looking for like a blanket statement on any massive religion that like over 1 billion people follow, you're probably not gonna
we're
find.
definitely gonna pull those last ones. Fuck it.
This pub in London.
Fuck it.
And I have a little.
We're basing this shit, bro. We're not fucking
I would take
bitches.
this everywhere I went, have it put in my backpack.
Why just
so that I
die?
could record if I needed it,
fucking
and it
kill
also
him.
would record audio.
Fucking kill
So I
him.
actually
Like,
have
really not-
footage of that bar that night we met them. of
I'll
me
hit
sitting on
you
the
guys.
toilet, turning
Fuck it,
this
bro.
on,
I
and
don't
just
care.
looking down at it.
Yeah, pull
and
it
putting
to
it
the
in my
tank. I don't
purse
even
and
care.
putting it under the table. Unfortunately, of course,
Yeah, just drag him in.
the audio came out horrendously.
You don't have to
in my
die,
purse
bro.
on the table.
It's a fucking 8 key, bro. It ain't that deep.
Try to adjust some of it, but you probably won't be able to hear any of it.
Like, excuse me, I said die. I said die. It's like, chill, poppy.
We got into a yelling match over political disagreements.
Chill, poppy,
We never met with them again. Never again.
Just
We
die.
had that one meeting, and I actually ended up using it.
Are you kidding me? It's a repair bill. And I have a fucking covenant that repairs for me automatically. You think I'm gonna fucking choose to die?
We have to go meet with them. We have to try to smooth things over. We're terrified
Yeah,
not to
hearing that
travel
fucking-
anymore. We're gonna go to jail.
Target
We don't know
you.
how we're gonna smooth it over, but there's absolutely no way we're gonna compromise you. There's no way we're gonna compromise Tommy. And it's important to
Special
mention
coming.
that Halen and George were not just working for me at this point. They were working for Tommy.
You better get there, bro. I was gonna take it. I took these. Haha, losers.
And they were like, listen, we've told Tommy about
Orange?
it.
What?
It's all gonna be okay.
They basically just want to know.
Wow. How cringe.
So
How cringe. Dude, do you see all the Dragonflight shit that's coming? I'm actually like super, I think it's kind of broke. I've seen a lot of fucking specs for like Rogue already that are like Thistle Tea, Shadow Dance, Garrote Silence, like a bunch of things.
You recorded them anyway. Yeah, there was nothing.
I don't have the recording.
Yeah. Then you have 2 vanishes. Yeah, it's like wild. It's like, yeah. Yeah.
They basically like full-time
Pretty.
infiltrate. Right.
Only when you're on RP servers trying to make a living.
It's true.
Yep, tight towards the boss. What a good will live by Mr.
Watch your feet.
We're all gearing up. If we take down those boys, then the Tommy Robinson will never happen.
He's already going. He's like, yo, fuck this, you there.
Watch your feet.
I'm gonna go. Get it, get it, get it.
Every hospital visit we've been to, every psychiatric, every open air we've ever had, everything we could possibly imagine shit.
I think he's trying to grieve. I think actually unironic, yeah. he's actually trying to grieve. And I'm not letting it. Oh, that's funny. That's alright.
What would you go to
At
prison
this
for?
point, all I care about.
Oh, somebody posted to my subreddit. This is actually, I can see this. Yo, the one thing that America does so much better, I've said this a lot and I'll say it again, thank fucking God we don't have dog shit fucking hate speech laws in this country. That is that is one of the few things where when Americans are like, we're freer than you guys are wild. People in the UK tweet the N-word at somebody, you go to fucking jail. That shit is crazy. Holy fuck. You guys are wild.
Wait, did you just run, Jay?
When it comes to actual hate speech laws. Which is funny because you guys have the hate speech laws.
I don't think you died,
I
though.
think conservatives in the United States sometimes think we have, but we don't. But Jesus.
Is my movie
I don't know, because we don't
as
have our
long as
tank
they're
here and
not
he's
causing any
feeling
trouble,
emotional
as long
right
as
now.
Tommy knows.
Not the average person, you dickhead.
Yeah.
Wrong. No, that is not true. It is the average person. It happened the last time there was a football game. There were like average random people would like tweeting out like calling some football player the N-word, and they would like get prison time for it. Or they'd get big fines for it. It isn't just celebrities or people that drum up like violence or whatever. I'm pretty sure like on the books in the UK you have actual hate speech laws to where if they can prove that you tweeted out something, like you can get fined or like get jail sentences or whatever for it. Like it's insane.
Yeah.
Jeez.
They're not actually compromised.
Let's see if he actually hold his own.
I just care about Borderless. That's my baby. That's my project. That's where my focus.
Oh, he's pulling the... Oh,
did get
okay. So now he wants to have fun with it?
Everything was fantastic.
Yeah, I'm done.
Really enjoyed risking their lives with me on this trip. I'm sorry, maybe publicly you guys don't believe that they were not compromised, but the guys almost went to jail with me for 5 years. I think I've got a bit of a better insight. Fast forward, we're in LA, we're filming the last bits of Borderless, the introduction, conclusion, all of this.
No, they all have like fucking worms. It's not forward.
Seeing this guy I really like, life is starting to get a bit more normal. I'm seriously considering leaving politics at this point because everything is so messy and so much of my vision, what I thought the conservative political world would be, so many of my visions of how I thought people would be, and you know, I obviously believed everyone was as passionate and genuine as I was about wanting to change things, about wanting to save the West, all this stuff, right? I had been so black-pilled.
I think he just fucking hit the hunter for no reason.
That, you know, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed approach and really died. So I really was seriously considering quitting and taking a step back or changing something. And out of nowhere, while I'm sitting there in my...
I don't know, he's like in his feels right now, hardcore. Put some Drake on. You okay, Jay?
Target you. Tommy Robinson. Ghosted Christmas past, right? What is Tommy doing calling me? I
Which one?
Ages of the damn
Oh,
right?
because we're killing minions under him. Sing
And
one.
Tommy is frantic, saying, Lauren, did you know that Caitlin's George are not hate? Have you heard of this? You know? And I'm like, Tommy, like, what are you talking about? He's like, he starts telling me.
Yeah, he's in his own
Caitlin and George were talking about this day and that day. And I'm like, you know this. I know you. We've talked about it before. You know, you've met with Hope Not Kate, Tommy. You've met with Nick Rose before. What, he starts having this conversation.
It's early in the instance, okay? Yeah, I might.
It was a very strange conversation. It didn't seem real because he was talking about a bunch of stuff that he already knew. A bunch of things he already knew, was aware of, and repeating them as if he didn't know. And I got a bit of a creepy suspicion that this was a setup call. It wasn't actually a real conversation that was happening. So I asked him, Tommy, are you recording this conversation? Is there something weird going on here? He goes, no, Lauren, I would never record our conversation. That's bizarre. No.
For the few people that are aspiring actors in this space or
For
any other
you
space,
keep looking at your feet.
always assume every convo, whenever you're typing
he's
things,
just gonna go through.
especially.
Wait, can he? I don't think he can with us in combat.
Always consider.
Get fucked, idiot! You look like a fucking moron in that portal.
It's so important to always consider.
Oh, I bet he's gonna pull hardcore here.
Is probably gonna be the type of stuff.
He's gonna try and grief. I actually think 100% we just three chested.
Motherfuckers will record everything. You should be recording.
Ironically,
conversations that you think.
I think we just hardcore three chested if he just tries to grief.
Of course not.
Hey, look, there it is.
Joke's on me. I didn't think about this for months and months.
Yeah, coming at you.
So it came out that Tommy was in fact recording the call. And he was doing it because the BBC were planning a massive expose on him. Cocaine, hookers, I don't know. I never heard the whole drama. But essentially, the Hope Not Hate were trying to use the blackmail they had on Palin to get him to go and do this BBC documentary.
I just like how his
exposing
emotional
Tommy,
pulling is
but
what we
Palin
just
had warned
wanted the
Tommy
whole
about
time.
the BBC documentary because, as I said,
Why couldn't you be mad the whole time? This is what we wanted.
and so Tommy wanted to, by any means necessary, stop
He got so far. Oh, look, that was nice.
including getting re-recordings of the documentaries, courtesy of Lucy Palin helping him out. Wait, you may be wondering why Lucy Brown is helping Tommy. Was she excommunicated for betrayed by him? Yeah, she was. But when the BBC and Hope Not Hate reached out to her to get her to throw Tommy under the bus, she decided she hated them more than
emotionally
she hated Tommy. And approached him with the idea of
That's him. That'll work.
secretly their whole project.
It's only gonna get annoying if we get him on top. Oh.
When he questioned her as to why the hell did you save Tommy?
Special coming.
Everything you did. Lucy Brown is a lot of things, but an anti-bus spy, none of those. And it was all just such a mess. The way the BBC was behaving was incredibly unethical.
Special coming.
Get subjects in their film, using Hope Not Hate and NGO to work with them. That's the reason it never went to air. But then
Florida's a two-party consent state. Does it matter to you who's doing it? I don't ever give a fuck about the law when it comes to recording conversations. Like, would I ever risk my reputation because it might be illegal to record a fucking conversation? Fuck, I'd rather take the penalties and exonerate my character, right? You can pay a fine or do whatever you have to record, but
My question is this phase? I don't think that damage at the very end, unless you can somehow one thing.
was also completely unethical. Like, he included spliced up recordings from my call with him that were completely out of context, where I said, hey, yeah, I met with Hope Not Hate, so did you. And like, it was just this short thing in 2017 where we had this massive, like, blow-up confrontation, and I never saw them again. Cutting out all of the context of that and only including I met with Hope Not Hate. Trying to make it seem like there was this giant CIA plot against him, including myself and all these other people that weren't actually involved at all.
Perfect space.
You aware they've been leading the rig?
Watch your step.
Ooh, that's hot.
Continually met with them when you were doing your Borderless documentary? Hope Not Hate flew out to Italy to meet them?
I don't know what they were talking about, but for the most part, like, I think they're...
It was all a very, very strange time, but oh my gosh. That caused the rumor mill to start talking about how I was a secret Hope Not Hate spy. It made me really sad too, because I was perfectly willing to speak to Tommy just in an interview on camera and tell him, oh yeah, no, I disagree with what the BBC is doing. I think this is wrong. This is what happened. Tell him the whole story. Would have been really happy
he
to do
actually
all
got
of
them
that.
out. Nice.
But it can't just be, you know, a complex story of exposing what the BBC did wrong. It had to be a total victory for Tommy, even if that meant destroying the reputations of me and everyone else around him, as long as it was a total Tommy victory. And it was the same shit I had seen over and over and over again, from Milo, Ezra, to Faith, to the tour managers, over and over again, just
see that
people screwing over everyone around them to save their own ass, and not telling the full story to their audiences, not explaining what had happened, because it's too complicated. So they need a simple story where they're just the good guy and everyone else is villains. And this is the point this has all been leading up to.
We're gonna do this
it's
thing.
Still
we're gonna push that. We're gonna try and do a 2 or 3 chests with it.
But
we'll see. We'll see how we do.
Really well.
With it, adrenaline rushes into immunes was probably not the play, but
from NGOs, incredible on the ground interviews with human
but it's fine.
Really
you did better than that fucking.
I'm really proud of that movie.
Tank. That tank was on a whole different Linkin Park phase. Jesus.
I'm tired of politics. I cannot stand.
Yeah, it was like
the
in his feels.
I cannot stand the behavior, the selfishness, all of it. And I think it's making me
14,
a worse
right?
person too, because I'm at the point where I can't even talk to people or make friends or trust anyone in this world. And I don't want to live like that. I don't want to be like that, right? So I just want to start a family. I just want to start a family.
What titties?
I was actually married
titties?
at this point when Borderless was released. Nobody knew that. And
Oh, that's nice.
My
Makes
husband
it
and I had
so much
decided
simpler.
to have a child.
Are you Venth?
And he's Australian, so I wanted to be
I'm
able
so
to go to
confused.
Australia, visit family.
No. Yes, actually. Yes. This is like such a based ass fucking group too. This is like basically, yeah. 24, 23, 22, 26. And me being a whopping 3,200.
Because of everything I had done in politics, because of all the activism I had done, South Africa, borderless, all of it, I had been put on a list called vacuum.
Just hopping.
It is typically for
With Cool Whip.
criminals and terrorists that can't travel to other countries.
I will say the one thing
because
I
they've
love
got
about
a record that won't allow them to enter other countries, and I'd
being
been put on that
in
list due to my
like
political
3K groups
activism.
is I know at
And it
least
meant that I couldn't get a
one
visa
other
to
person has to have a
Australia.
portal. So
And I'd
like
been
the
advised
start of it
the
is so
only way
fast.
that I was going to be able to see my family, grandparents of my child, was if I could
Oh yeah,
all
did I
of
tell
this
you
all
when I
together.
did
So,
the
what I kind of expected to be like
gear
a slow trickle out,
like
calm
tokens,
down,
I guess, for
maybe do a few
like
videos
Valor
here
Exchange
and there, but settle down
on my
out of
monk.
the
I got
political sphere,
Soleils,
ended up being
and
a
I'm
full
pissed
cutoff.
because I would have
Publish a letter
100% been
and
okay
say
doing
goodbye
that
to everyone. Shut down all my social media.
on my
shut
priest,
down
but it took me like
my subscription site,
unironically.
all of it, instantly. Otherwise, my visa was going to be rejected, and I was never
Your
going to be
Valor
able to
for
enter
gear.
the country. And that's what I did right after Borderless came out.
But that's account wide. So
Published.
it's like a token.
leaving.
And then you can
I'm
also do but those are like
letter I
the
emailed
500 Valor
people
ones are
and said
mythic
goodbye.
levels.
Said I wanted to focus on
They're like
family. I didn't talk
236.
about why. I didn't
Yeah, the
tell
one
anyone
at
about
12s.
the Australia vacuum stuff because
But I'm
that
still
would probably
fucking
jeopardize
that's
my visa too.
you know
I
how
couldn't
long it took me to get that on my fucking
discuss, you know, those government affairs and problems, and I was lucky enough that right
I
after I published
have
that letter, I did get a
my
response
resonant
that said,
reservoir with leech on.
I'm not
That's
skipping parts of the
based.
video. You put the whole
I
video out,
got
so we're watching the whole video.
lucky when it
Stop
came to
spamming the
that
chat.
coming out of the
It's been accepted.
vault.
You're allowed to visit the country
I got a
now, but
heroic
it's on
level
the
one,
one
55
stipulation that
each.
you quit politics. You will never violate any of our character assessment standards again. I kind of wanted quitting to be on my own terms, which made me sad because it wasn't on my terms. It wasn't really on my terms. It was on the government's terms. I definitely feel like the end of my political career was stolen from me by that. Sorry. It's really nice to tell people what actually happened. You know, I think a lot of people, especially like a lot of my biggest supporters, they felt very abandoned. They felt like I just disappeared and left them and I didn't give any explanation, but it wasn't because of that. There was a lot more going on in the background that I never spoke about. There are definitely times where I wish I could go back and tell myself never to go to that conference, just stay in the army. I don't think I would have believed me if I told me what happened. I don't think I would have believed governments would stop people from entering countries and seeing family just over their political opinions. Maybe over terrorism, extremism. Like, I can't even visit. It's not even immigration. It's like I can't even visit people that I love anymore in many countries in the world just because of my opinions that are held by most people in these countries. But
To be fair, the boat thing probably
I
played
didn't
into it a little
think
bit too,
that
I would imagine.
when
but-
it came to career, when it came to how this would affect my family, my friends, I didn't think it would be so extreme or ever get to this point. But that's also part of the reason that I believed in everything I did so much. I could see.
Or maybe not
so
actually.
much
I wouldn't know.
important
I wouldn't know what
conversation
Australia's
being
using as their
stifled. So
guidelines
many
for
people who didn't
letting
have
people
a
in or
voice
not.
and were so afraid, and I wanted to be that voice for people. And being that voice for people obviously had risks that I was willing to take, but probably didn't fully understand when I got into politics. A lot of story to tell, so let's get back to it because it somehow gets worse.
That's vodka.
Oh, we're going real bad. We're blasting it.
So
A meta character, right?
then I've quit. I published my letter. I'm gonna go be with my family.
In the history
and
of
then I get
ever.
a text from Milo Yiannopoulos, which, if you've been paying attention so far, it's never been. Milo calls on the phone, and he's
Well,
like,
I think he wants to have everything ready
and I just
for
don't
the
care at this
expansion.
point. I tell Milo, listen, I'm married. I'm starting a family. I've got these visa issues. I can't talk about anything. I can't be involved in anything publicly. Please just leave me alone. He is so angry, though. He's going off, saying, Lauren, you need
Looks
to
like
help
it.
me. You
Yep.
need to do something for me right now.
He says we're blasting.
If I were in a room with Caitlin and George, I would put a shotgun in their mouths and I would blow their brains out right now. I hate them.
Bam!
Bam! Lauren, us people.
Watch your step.
This was so strange. Us people all the time. They're always after each other. And Lauren, I have all of these horrible thoughts about each other. Ugly women that are jealous. This works. I just think we have to he didn't want to give me any blackmail on Caitlin and George. All I need from you is a disavowal. All I need is you to tell me that they stole things. They stole from you, didn't they? They stole.
No, he's talking about his Rain of Fire spams. Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
They're just horrible people, aren't they? And all that kept flashing back into my head was that
He's like, my warrior would have had them all in the same spot.
where he told me I was this vibe.
Watch your step.
All you needed was a little bit of blackmail. And brought back to Margaret. Lauren, don't you remember what an awful person Margaret was?
Shockwave.
Money. Oh, and then it turns out Milo actually. And I was sick of it. I wanted to cut it. I was Milo, no, I'm not.
Wait, so did he really just get away with this? Milo's like Virgin Mary said. What he was doing with Margaret.
They haven't stolen from me. I don't want to be involved in any of this. And half the questions you're asking me are extremely leading and completely untrue. So I just told him no. No, Milo. You know what? Write what you will about me. I don't want to be involved.
I hope he
in it.
pulls the double pack next.
Like, oh,
That's like the
sweetie,
funnest
darling.
pack.
Just awesome. Don't worry about it.
Doing the 2 packs on the same
So
platform
Milo
to the
sends
boss.
me an email.
That's where you get fun shit happening.
But
That's the juice.
it was just insane. It was not journalism, not even remotely. His questions, he says, not in any particular order. When did you first find out Kaylin was stealing from Tommy Robinson? When did you find out they were stealing from Ezra Levant? Did you employ them knowing they previously stolen money or engaged in financial fraud, including inflated invoices? How much money did they steal from you? When did you find out they were working with Milton Street?
Shockwave. Gabe ridiculed. Frank was I'm not by saying I am now.
Welcome to Church Milton Shop.
Hey, how are you?
I'm well. I'm happy because this is the first of our shows, and with a limited time.
Oh yeah, you should. 100%.
Extremely powerful religion. If you're ever
I think I mentioned that the best of enemies. There's a quote at the end, or there's like a line at the end where people talk about how some people live in the public eye for so long. And really interesting
Does Outlaw do really good single target?
And for some of these people, it's almost impossible to imagine, like, what do you look
Stack.
like? And Milo, at least to me,
Shockwave.
Milo, hardcore.
And Poe.
Special coming.
When did you find out they had shared Gavin's location with Antifa?
Milo's
What was your reaction? If the boys stole from you and took advantage of you, even supposing you knew nothing about their activities, why did you continue to employ them? Did they ever threaten you? Do you have any idea why people would say you knew about everything? Did you ever hear Kaylin put a tracker in Tommy Robinson's car? It wasn't did they steal, it was when did they steal? How much did they steal? Milo even had accused them on the phone. He said, Did they steal all the Australia money?
Special coming.
Obviously my reaction is this is nonsense. First of all, Kaylin and George wasn't even in Australia. Kaylin came and didn't get paid anything. The tour manager stole all the money, so I knew Milo was just taking shots in the dark, trying to get as much dirt on these guys as possible.
Is it a proc reduction or is it like a
Milo
100%?
All I knew was that anyone who crossed Milo, even for completely legitimate reasons, had their lives absolutely destroyed or attacked by him. And once again, I wanted absolutely nothing to do with it. So I just said, listen, if you send me proof that they
Special coming.
you show me proof that they put trackers in his car, you show me proof for any of this theft, any of it, I'll just allow it. Of course, Milo, of course. But he never sent me anything, nothing. He never sent me a sticker proof. In fact, I later found out there was a guy who sent me a DM on Instagram. He said, Milo messaged me and told me I needed to write to him saying Kaylin and George stole from me. And he tried to leverage the fact that he let me write for his website Dangerous once and said, you owe me one, so I need you to write a message saying Kaylin and George stole from you for his article. And he said, I've never met Kaylin and George. I've never worked with them. I've never used their equipment. How could they have stolen from me when I've never known them? But Milo did not care about the facts involved. Even if there were nefarious things that Kaylin and George did, it wasn't, Milo wouldn't have cared. It wouldn't have been enough. He has to lie in everything he does. Oh, it was just so insane. So I was just so sick of it. I was like, I'm not going to disavow them. I'm not going to throw them under the bus for you. I don't know what you've got up your sleeve. If you
Cody, you should go tricks of the trade that way.
He called me multiple times.
Yes, 100%.
Multiple times. I begged him, just leave me alone. I've got my family stuff. I just want out of this world.
I'll pull you back too.
I remember the last, I got one last text from him before never speaking to the man again, which said, Lauren, I'm giving you one last opportunity to throw Kaylin and George under the bus. And I actually have a screenshot of that text.
Now would be the time to throw them under the bus. Tommy's going to
use your rocks if you got them.
He knew fully what he was doing. He wasn't trying to get information to expose the truth to the right-wingers. I thought I'd get the truth out there, right? It was, I'm going to threaten you, and you're going to throw these people under the bus for me. Throw them under the bus. Those words directly. So I can destroy their life because they cost them. That's all. That's what it was. Of course, I have no interest in that. But unfortunately, a lot of fucking people in politics do.
Rock locks if you got them.
Anyone and everyone under the bus to keep Milo off their ass, to keep anyone off their ass from save their career. At this point, I wasn't working with Kaylin and George anymore. They were off doing work with Stephen Molyneux. They were working with Alex
Spelling
Jones.
you.
They were working with Tommy Robinson, although probably half the time behind the scenes at this point.
Damn it, Jay. Just release.
I then saw they were working on a film called You Can't Watch This. And I asked Kaylin about it. I was like, what is going on with this Milo stuff? Why is he contacting me? And Kaylin just said,
Now I know why that double back
from Milo.
He's fucking running. We're running in the corner.
I wish I could say.
I said it. It's fine. We did it. We did it. Jay, I'm PIing you. Have
I wish
fun.
I could say it was over something serious. I wish I could say all of this actually were about Kaylin and George working to help us hate and betraying people on the right way. Because then at least I would have some faith, a smidge of faith in the right way. It is ludicrous to make a movie like this without me. A joke.
I can't fucking
I am patient
get that guy out of the fucking segment.
No. Also,
Yeah.
go fuck yourself, you treacherous slime. Your day in the barrel is coming. I am coming. You will not know when or how, but I am coming. That is an actual message Milo sent Kaylin and George. An actual message.
Based.
Simply because he was not included in a film.
That Sanguine fucking did 22K. No wonder we were fighting so long to fucking kill these fuckers. But hey, that was a lot. That was fun. I like that. That was a good time. We're gonna save all the time.
I should
from
have
that.
messaged the guys from that.
Now we get 3 chests officially.
When they did that Hassan video. You guys are talking about the start of Twitch politics
rock
without
logs.
me? I don't think so. That would have been based. True, we need more Milo energy.
Day in the barrel is coming. Absolutely insane. Psychopathic behavior. And so their day in the barrel did come. And mine too, apparently, as I refuse to throw them under the bus. Milo published an article called Safe Farewell to the Klepto-Queens of the Far Right, in which every ridiculous accusation he wrote in that email.
How far do you have to run out?
Any confirmation or any proof to it, he published as fact. He published just as 100% fact in this piece.
There's no W.
I've gone and I've looked at this article.
There's just no W.
Like almost every single thing Milo puts.
Sing-wine.
Source I don't want to be named. Anonymous, like every single source from that email. I think almost every single one that I saw was anonymous. Which I thought was really funny. Based Sigma way to write articles.
I knew within the first minute of reading this article, it was complete nonsense. If I went through all the accusations in this article, it would be another 4 hours.
It's actually really hard to figure out what side he's tornadoing with all these storms. it's actually kind of
oh, so 1% is true.
Trying to like dictate which one's the real storm.
$10,000 for me, and they put a screenshot saying, "Hey, we're missing $10,000 in travel expenses." But if you actually read the full email, you'll see at the bottom it says receipts. We're missing the receipts. We need to get them in so we can file them for taxes, which is completely reasonable.
So I'm interested to see. I've heard rumors about the next one.
Business does. So that's just how Milo would operate. He'd take one piece of evidence and say, "Look,
we should, oh yeah, we're going into this. Yep, we're doing it. We're doing it."
Didn't happen, but as long as he had that one reference that people didn't read into that.
Oh, he's maybe not.
Pretend it was a receipt for all of the lies he was writing. There was another bit where he had an email. There were late
no, I can't. It's gonna be a heal through. I'll be able to heal through that.
Look, if they defrauded all these rental companies. Like, no, they were late return inspection rental companies. I've done that a million times. Anyone who works in film is like, oh shoot, we went over 5 hours of filming, we'll return it in the morning, and you get a late notice. It was just like absurd how scorched earth he was going.
Yeah, actually one shot.
He's just lying.
What happened?
Lying.
I thought we were gonna go with the thing.
Knows it was a lie.
I thought that was gonna be like hella gamer, because then we're gonna pull like the front and back of it. I was like, dude.
What came out after he spoke to Milo,
Yeah.
how much
And we had whoa, it would have actually been like obvious as fuck.
Alex Jones after
We didn't skip anything. I don't know why he's
he apologized and said,
yeah, we're just fucking amateurs, dude. I was hoping that was gonna be my MBI application.
I'm probably never gonna have Milo on the show again after witnessing this. Which is probably kind of sweet justice, as that first meeting that I had with Milo in Los Angeles, the advice he gave me in 2015 was to never go on Alex Jones's show. That's just a random little tidbit. There was only one part of this article that I really hope was true, because it's funny as shit if it is, but Milo claims that Kaylin and George doctored all of Tommy Robinson's to make him have a chipmunk voice. It's just hysterical. If real, that's a very funny accusation. Now, one thing I really want to hit on is you'll notice most of this article is about how Kaylin and George screwed over Tommy Robinson. How they were stealing from him, ruining his life, trying to get him killed, trying to dox his family, all this stuff. And Tommy never said anything publicly to deny this, right? In fact, I think Milo may even have a bit in the article where Tommy says it's all true.
You got instant clap back down. I was like, yo, I topped him. He's good. And it literally like topped, back to 1 HP. I was like, fuck.
I think it was pretty awesome.
I was like, holy fuck. I was like, I swear I thought you were the, you had aggro with that. That seemed like such a heavy drop.
Pissed when he got out of prison and Caleb and George were off filming Borderless with me. He was thinking, who's going to film my videos? Who's going to work with me?
55 seconds to use this in the boss.
You have made me successful. You are mine.
Watch your step.
It wasn't the case that it was like Kaylin and George are Warren's personal crew, and Tommy was trying to get rid of them no matter what. No, it was the opposite. Tommy would show up to Kaylin and George's house with
target you,
begging them to come back and work for him, but they didn't want to do it anymore. It was too much fucking drama, way too much drama. They just wanted to do documentaries with me, and potentially even go.
The way that she pronounces it, like actually.
Shotgun.
They were never particularly good. They just like to do wrong stuff. They like doing it. So,
you're fine.
Tommy still, even when this article was published, was still trying to work with Kaylin and George. Yet allowed the perception of them being these horrible villains to persist to keep his reputation as the victim. Milo alleges that the reason Tommy kept working with them, and still working with them when the article was published, was because they were blackmailing him, threatening him. It's Tommy Robinson. You know, you think two gay guys are threatening Tommy Robinson and forcing Tommy to do videos with them? The whole idea
Target
is just
you.
absurd.
Maybe you should fucking cloak, okay? You're 23 seconds up on it. You should have used it 23 seconds earlier. You would have been fine. My bad. You know what? You got a point there. What is that, huh, Mr. Hoodie?
They were in a studio filming all together. I have the footage of it. Tommy, Kaylin, and Jordan all together, smiling, laughing, joking. Kaylin, in fact, has sent me thousands of messages between the two of them, all post this article being published, in which they were exposed as blackmailing, trying to kill Tommy, everything of Tommy.
As long as it doesn't go across the boss.
Saying, hey, we're going to do this project, we're going to do this book, we're going to film this and that.
Look, once I've done the Grooming documentary, called it The Rape of Britain, and we use easy meat statistics, and we update them in the current day. That's the book idea, mate.
Kite it.
I can't do Monday, I'm not in. Maybe we just get the warehouse done and...
Cool, we're on such a good run.
Can we book it for as early as possible? Alright, yeah, 11's still cool then. We can still do... Yeah, still do 11.
I'm trying to remember
cool.
how many
I've done the same
gauntlet
Yo, good morning.
I think there's at least one pack.
Sorry, mate, it's chasing you on that thing. I want to watch it. Remember we had the screenshot, bro. Taylor, you know the photo?
Because I'm about to say, I remember it happening.
Yeah.
Or at least maybe I think it's that hallway. It might be.
Yeah, all right, bro.
Just the first hallway.
It's the same thing since dot one of meeting the three of them. There has been too much shit.
Well, that would be the gauntlet.
Tommy had blamed them.
Oh, are you talking about the small hallway?
Made them the scapegoat for everything, but didn't have a good enough film crew to replace them, so kept begging them to work with him privately behind the scenes while lying to his audience, pretending they weren't working together, and they were these horrible, awful traitors.
Defensive.
It was it was so disgusting, so disgusting. I mean, Tommy had his reasons, but to me, they're still inexcusable. So when people look at me today and they're like, oh, but can't you see that Kaylin and George were these awful traitors that went and worked for the left wing, and they went and exposed all these right-wingers, and now they're working for this huge left media company. I'm not surprised. It doesn't surprise me. They were so screwed over and treated horrendously by everyone they worked for in media. You'll notice they don't really say much about me, right? And they were never.
She's still blackmailing them. Oh no.
They weren't these like big, like, yes, I'm a huge right winger. Let's fight for the fight. They're just artists that got into this world of politics and decided, holy shit, there's no way we're staying in here. Everyone's blackmailing each other. Everyone hates each other. If I don't include this one gay guy in it, he wants to kill me with a shotgun. Why the hell would they want to stay in right-wing politics? And this is the real hard pill that people have to swallow. You can't just call people traitors that you run out of your own movement. You can't just sit there and claim to be a victim of Kaylin and George after you spread a bunch of rumors about them, you lie about them, you make them hate every single thing about the right, and then pretend you're the victim. Until the right can accept that they are chasing people away, it's not going to grow, it's not going to get better, and it's certainly not going to get better when they're chasing away the only artists in their movement. And I just want to touch on this once more.
Range 5.
Probably the media, the origin of what they've done since. Yeah, they have absolutely done exposés on the right at this point. They have both come out and said they hate it all. It's just full of cocaine hookers and scam artists. They've obviously gone to the media and done this stuff now. And yeah, they did experience and witness a lot of that stuff. So they're not
it's like a reverse Rittenhouse.
Watch your step.
At the time, I remember when they initially said at the politics and reporting against the right, I said, you guys, it was just going to confirm in people's minds that you guys were actually just traitors the entire time. But at that point, they genuinely
watch your step.
Watch your feet. It wasn't false. At that point, it had grown to such a point where they're like, this is just an
homie don't
awful
play
movement. And I hate to say, they had a very human reaction. They weren't activists like I was. Not everyone can sit in silence for years being slandered like I did to protect the reputations of people in a political movement because you still have these ideals or this cause you're fighting for.
So still to this day, even though they can
Watch your
dislike
step.
politics, even though they can dislike what I did and what I still do and are working against it,
Run.
I understand why. I understand why.
I said I get through this.
Watch your
I'm
step.
gonna get through this. One day. Remember when I mentioned that text from Milo where he said, I have one last chance? One last chance to
Watch
kill
your step.
Gil. Well, I gotta give the man credit. He has followed me for his threat, right? He told me, I've got a bunch of gossip from ugly women.
It's actually super hard to figure out when there's like a maze of those that figure out where the blind. It's
But you're just gonna have to do it if you aren't willing to throw Caleb and Jordan under the bus.
the final
I guess my
hallway.
one
Either the
crime
first
in
hallway or the
politics
final hallway. I always
one of the
fuck something
few
up.
people
I
that
always
just
like
wouldn't
don't get the
go over
angle
my
right.
support staff over and over again to save my own career. Should have learned my lesson, but yeah, he definitely followed through with that threat.
Who's that?
And if you get to
There's that
halfway through
poggers.
the article, he begins with his discussion of Warren Southern and how I was involved in all of this fraudulent behavior, how I was all part of the plan.
Take W?
Secretly talking to Oakland.
Oh.
But even worse, everything I did was a lie. Everything I did wasn't actually me. It was all written for me by me. I was blackmailing and sleeping with.
Find shelter.
Is there any more than classic go-to attack a woman you can grasp onto than nothing she did was her own and she fucked her way to the top? I'll give him that. I'll give him credit for picking the most hard-hitting attack you can get on the right towards a woman, right? Really twisting the nice points of this bit was where he says, Alan Lopari was the one who goes through all of my stuff, and that I was blackmailing Alan Lopari. Now that wouldn't really hit anyone the same way you would other than people who knew about what had happened with Alan at the beginning of the video. That it was in fact the opposite. Milo was blackmailing Alan, and Alan was right.
I think he interrupted it as like.
Get away with saying the exact opposite. Getting a little extra dagger to the back, right?
You mean so much
course,
game speed in that right now? That sanguine is actually fucking us with call. Unironically though.
And at the time I said, let's just ignore it. I don't think anyone's going to air it to Milo. There's no evidence.
My question is it do we have to get her back down? Like
Milo, Alan did eventually publish saying that
that would not be poggers. Not.
Like a stand-up guy, really stand-up guy. And then the rest of the men that Milo allegedly slept with content were all anonymous.
Based anonymous, like the women that I raped. That one.
An anonymous source.
Based anonymous source.
An anonymous source says, which
Find shelter.
we all know what an anonymous source means in the Milo article. It was Milo's imagination. Just what he wanted to be in the piece. That pissed me off. It really pissed
I think
me
we should
off.
focus on
So
color.
many people believe
Right? Get her out of this and then we're gonna
I'd like to think
inevitably
that anyone who read this article
It doesn't
on my
really
YouTube channel and click top videos
Fuck
to
it.
see that the vast majority of my most popular videos are streeters live. Would have been impossible to sleep with someone to write them for me, but you know that's the best accusation you can go with for trying to take down, especially a woman on the right. She has no ideas of her own, slept her way to the top, all of that. Maybe so mad.
Find
especially
shelter.
knowing, and Milo would have known these skills, would have been content.
That was tight. I got
Milo
yeeted.
must have a really low estimation.
Yeah, fucking hella
Because he
yeeted.
literally insinuated that I may have slept with my gay video editor for my
know I'm
story.
sensitive.
Kaylin's partner.
Go all into one. All into one.
In truth, George is a wonderful writer, and I would send my script correct. He would send me quite catty notes back about what I did wrong and right in them, and absolutely every single person in politics has people they send notes to,
Hogging
has
it.
people that help
Watch
them
your
with their
step.
writing. No shot. Obviously, Milo knows this, having Alan ghostwrite all of his stuff, but I have a
Watch
very,
your
very,
step.
very small pool of people that I respect enough to
Watch
help me
your
edit my
step.
work. Dylan and George
Jay, do you want
have
the little corner?
projects, and that would help his speeches work, and a girlfriend of mine that was singing as well. But
Watch your step.
not one of them.
Bam!
Watch your feet.
It has kind of become a running joke now when I have a friend edit my script. If I'm talking about dollars with the amounts, I'll just say I'll give you 100 secs to
Watch your step.
look over my work.
Watch your feet. Watch your step.
Okay? So it's become a bit of a joke now, but obviously at the time it was really, really infuriating to see all my work.
Honestly, I don't know
One
how
thing
the
that
fuck
made me extra
people three chest this
emotional about
on
this
like
video
high keys. There's no fucking
I have
shot,
spent so
bro.
much time in my life standing up for men who were falsely accused. Men who were falsely accused of rape, of nefarious actions, whatever it may be, mostly based on the argument of innocent until proven guilty. We need to look at the evidence.
Watch your
And
step.
to have all of these red pill YouTubers, Meninists, MRAs, make videos coming out just uncritically believing everything that has been said about me, that pissed me off, you know.
According to an article released by the now very
Find shelter.
Lawrence King
Okay.
Watch your step.
and George Louis were involved in all sorts of fraudulent money-making schemes and risky backstabbing behavior, which Lawrence Southern was clearly aware of during the filming of her documentary.
I think one of my favorite things too, you can look at that Miley article if you think I'm blank, but I don't think I am. But I remember reading, or I'm misquoting, it's not intentional, but I think I remember reading, there were a couple points in that article.
And
where
we'll
people
have
talked
lust.
about, like,
Fuck
this
yeah.
point where
That's
they
like
sold like $163 from whatever. And I always feel like when somebody's gotten to the level where they're like getting that granular about crime, it makes me wonder, you know?
Borderless. Simply put, Lauren milked the majority of her thirsty fans for a few years and could now afford to burn out in the world of politics and retire early with the money she had made off her naive fans.
And I'll have PI anyway.
Here's what a lot of people don't realize is so much of the political is personal. When you see videos about Lauren Southern was a fraud, there's a good shot that that person feels scorned by me in one way or another. And it had absolutely nothing to do with them genuinely believing these things and everything to do with them wanting a chance to take a shot back at me. They're upset with me. Typically because I didn't date them or didn't sleep with them. That's just a sad, sad reality. Let me take you back to
And Jay has
filming
Inferno. Fine.
Borderless
Everyth's fine.
a few years. I remember sitting at a cafe in Vienna. And there's this one YouTuber named Squatting Slav TV.
Jay, you want to try the
And-
corner?
Oh,
It's
it was the
actually super
creepiest
based
thing
for
ever.
casters. You don't have to
I posted
move.
a photo of a napkin and a
It's actually like,
cup
I'll even
at a
PI you, and you
cafe.
literally don't have to fucking
And
move.
I come
When you
out
have
of
the
the
arrow,
bathroom
you don't
at the
move.
cafe to go
When you
back
have
and I see this
the
man
dance,
standing
you
there
don't
looking
move.
down at
It's
his
literally
phone, looking
like
up
the
at the
base
sign
this
above the
shit
cafe,
in the
looking at
world.
napkins, looking around, and then he
Yep.
sees me and like zeroes in.
Run
and
out.
starts making a beeline.
Yeah, Jay, have fun free casting.
Hello? Are you Lauren? Are you Lauren? Oh, I'm Squatting
Watch your
Slav
step.
TV. And like asks me to sit at my table.
Nope, you won't.
And I can see he found where I was in Vienna by looking at my Instagram story and finding the label on the napkin to stalk me to come and try to have lunch with me. It was the
It's just on
thing
you.
ever. And I said, of course not.
I
He was
haven't,
like, leave me
no!
alone. This is really creepy in here. And
Watch your
after I
step.
said no to him,
Run out.
and
I
said,
tried, I
don't
really
want
did. I swear to God. I was up in 1 second. It was up in 1 second.
horrible, evil monarchs.
I can beat Reggie here, it's alright. Yeah, we got it.
I didn't even find it until now.
It was like at 1 second and you were over the lip. I was like, God damn it.
Vienna, where are you? But think about how that is. This is once again one of these situations where this person who exudes this personality of I care about the red pill. I care about what the true beauty.
Find shelter.
Here.
I was like, no, it's because I fucking grieved Hoodie too. That's the reason I didn't have it.
Good work, whether they're
You dumb face.
has everything to do with whether they feel personally scorned or not, whether they can make money, whether they can get sex off something. It's all about them. That's what they base their politics on. Anyway,
Watch your
speaking
step.
of scorned people, as I mentioned, Milo would always get his quotes or blackmail that someone who he felt was giving him about Allah, what he called faith about him, right? It's who are the people that hate this person that are going to give me
Find
worst
How
shelter.
rip is that, dude? I'm so riveted right now.
that I can get from
Watch your step.
Actually.
You got Laura Luke, for example. Who said, it's a shame that the West fame and fortune overrode loyalty to those who facilitated the rise of their career. Then there's Faith, who of course stated, Lauren didn't know or care when they were doing a Gilman Forge with
Best
Milo's
recovery
record to make the implication that Southern was in on it. This giant Antifa plan, right? And lastly, he quoted
Entwined
a
gorge. What
former
is that?
friend who is
Nice,
unidentified.
nice.
Trust
What'd you end up getting?
Wait, Destiny, can you please acknowledge that all of the culturally significant right-wing media is produced by women and gay men? I don't know what's going on, dude. It's a wacky world out there, guys. It's just a wacky world out there. I don't know what else to say. Who knows what's real anymore?
And lastly, he quoted a
The other side.
former friend who is
So
unidentified.
it's gotta be what, a 16?
Who states, "Trust me."
And then if you want to find, and then the opposite
the
irony
line.
part, if you want to find like the whitest collection of like spoiled rich people, you just have to go into the rooms of some of the wokest places to find. Where are all the white straight men at? You mean the pansexual non-binaries? Because they're over there at a UC whatever, you know, just kidding, in a video game.
He knew about everything. Why do you think she's quitting journalism? Who retires at 26? Her retirement isn't about making babies.
Twitter is like overwhelmingly overrepresented by like white educated people. Meanwhile, like conservative groups are so desperate for people. They're like trying to be more diverse and multicultural. How many like Fuentes convos have like a black guy, a Hispanic guy? Like people are making arguments about like, well, you know, maybe we should one drop rule in the other.
Sounds
direction. If you're black and
easy.
Hispanic, there's some room for you here as long as
Sounds
you
like a
acknowledge the rest of you guys
Pogarinos
are
to
gross.
me, brother.
I don't know, it's fine. Never mind. In a video game.
Babies. It's about dodging bullets. 26. Her retirement isn't about making babies. It's about dodging bullets. Now, this former friend is almost 100% Milo Yiannopoulos, because of course, and this is what makes it extra
BRB.
insidious, Milo knew why I was quitting. He knew I was quitting because of my family. He knew I was quitting because I needed my visa. And he knew I couldn't respond to any of this. So he knew he could make comments as sick as this to say the opposite of what had actually happened and completely get away with it. To wrap this stuff up, like, this may not seem like a big deal to people watching because obviously it's old news, no one's really talking about that crazy article years ago anymore, but at the time it was huge. Everyone was talking about it. I had massive figures with hundreds of thousands of views talking about how I was this Antifa spy. It was all over Twitter. I couldn't respond to anything, but my whole Twitter timeline was all these people who were previously fans saying, how dare I betray the entire movement? Even when I made my coming back video saying, hey guys, I've returned to politics, not saying much because I was worried about my visa status. Everyone in the comments, thousands of comments of people saying, we know you screwed over Tommy Robinson. We know you did X, Y, Z. So many people believed this at the time. And I cannot even begin to explain how it feels to have to leave politics because you are being punished by a government for speaking out about issues you deeply, deeply care about, sacrificing your life, your career, your ability to see family and friends, to travel. I was banned from the US for 2 years, holy. Sacrificing all of this and being forced to quit because of all those sacrifices I made for something I truly, truly believed in. And then to have that silence, that forced silence from the government be used to turn everyone that I had fought for against me, and to have everyone say I was a fraud. Like, I can't even begin to explain how that makes one feel. My biggest regret, I've always felt like all of this is just too much to explain. Too much to explain, too complicated. I'm gonna have so many people come after me legally for talking about this stuff. I'm gonna have, you know, the government come after me for talking about what they did to me. I was so scared to talk about all of this for so long, but I really, really deeply regret that I didn't make this my comeback video and just tell you all what had happened, and I'm sorry for that. I genuinely am sorry. I was really angry with a lot of people who just believed all of these things with no evidence. I was really angry at...
Can you be banned from a country for any lefty positions? So I can't speak to like the legality of it, but you know how like cops in the United States can exercise a lot of discretion when it comes to like pulling you over for a traffic stop?
I ever turn.
Imagine that, except like a million times more, except you don't even have to be accused
I'm ready
of
to
a
game.
crime when it comes to immigration.
I'm ready.
I can't speak
I'm feeling
to
it.
I can only speak to my own experiences and like Melina's experiences and people I've heard traveling, but like whether or not you get into a country is fully at the discretion of whoever the particular agent is that either stamps your passport or decides to interview you. I'm pretty sure they have the discretion to turn you away for literally whatever fucking reason.
I hit the super chat.
Real quick, I did put a poll up in the chat. Lawrence versus Larry. Lawrence, you destroyed Larry in this poll, 77 to 23%.
Shout out to Lawrence.
I'm not a violent man.
This keeps coming up.
This keeps coming up. I'm not a violent man. But we did get a super chat from Insatiable Hunger. $5 super chat. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Insatiable.
And I kind of set that aside, though, and I remember the things I believed about Margaret. I remember the things I believed about Alan. I remember believing these things just because...
All three got willpower. Who's more privileged? I never finished Bleach, but I'm pretty sure Ichigo's on the lower spectrum as far as earning it here. Am I wrong? I don't...
I would say he's the lowest of them.
Yeah.
I think...
I also never finished Naruto. So.
I think that... I finished all three. But, like, I would say it's definitely Naruto #1.
What? Who earned it the most?
No, he didn't earn it the most.
Okay.
Who earned it the most is going to be Luffy. And then it's going to be like Naruto and then Ichigo.
Yeah, my only pushback is, like...
We're gonna
Shadow
hog
Fujitsu's
out.
Yo, and it's been hacks, and like they never realized it.
We're just gonna hog it out.
Bruh, as soon as Kakashi was like, "Oh, you can learn information," I was like, "What?"
Yeah, literally when that happened, I was just like, so Naruto's just goofy as shit. Like, he learned it through rock paper scissors, of course. I'm like, oh my goodness.
See, this is where I probably get a lot of hate for it. But this is where I have like no respect.
Watch your step.
Like I have like no.
Good guy, stop getting hood.
Like an anxiety attack about
That's not right.
And then dropped in the show.
It's more than that. But that was
your
pretty
step.
bad. Listen, I crap on Naruto the series.
Watch your step.
Naruto as an MC is, you know what I mean? Like he got it. I don't say out of the mud, but like. He pulled himself up. He did some stuff himself.
Yeah,
he stood tall.
To me, it's like I kept seeing Naruto as a big disappointment because the reason why, like, you had 2 years.
Watch your step.
And all you're able to do was a bigger Rasengan. Like that's it,
bro.
Like compared to Luffy 2 years.
Yo, what was Luffy doing? Bigger,
He also had
that was
after. I thought that was secret.
Like, no, that's not Naruto specific. That's Jiraiya, bro.
So let's keep going. Anything else?
Watch your step. We do have a bunch of comments in here talking about how Naruto is crazy.
Alright, so we got 10 minutes left until we start taking calls. So I'm gonna ask this one. So during the Road of Laptel Volume 3, it was stated
Going Hakar
that
first,
Fujitora,
base, dude.
also known as Isho, has in fact eaten the thud fruit and not his sword. How does this make you feel about Fujitora now? And we'll start with Seb.
I'm gonna give you prayers. I know you're gonna get hit.
I don't feel any different. You know what I mean? I would have liked if it was a sword because then it gives you more options. But it's like, I don't think he would fight any different. You know what
Staircase.
I mean? Like I don't see him eating another fruit, and now he can't. And his sword's not gonna eat another fruit. So I mean, it just takes away possibilities. It doesn't change. I think the more logical thought process was he ate this fruit.
Yeah.
And just utilizing it with the sword.
It's funny that we both got a little bit late this week because we had like a 10-minute maybe even more during the reverie about him having to do the sword. Honestly, it made more sense to me through the sword, but like
I knew it would, Far. Far's mind goes with it.
But like it doesn't bother me either way. The only reason why it made more sense to me that way is because like because he was drafted into the Navy, right?
Yeah.
So 2 years ago, was this man just walking around with a gravity fruit, just unaffiliated with anything? He wasn't a pirate.
Just
he
dominant.
wasn't a navy. He was just like
Top tier.
He was just dominating and shit.
Like, where did he come from, and why did he have this fruit? Like, what is he doing? He had no ambition or aspiration to do anything. And then on top of that, this came up in the referee.
Go ahead, Park. Keep going.
It was funny because like people were saying like you know, him having the fruit for 2 years made sense because the world government gave it to him, right? That was like the thinking for him. And it was just like, so all right, you have 2 years with the grab, with the thug fruit.
TCB don't always get it right.
You
know what I'm saying?
Talk about TCB like that.
No, they're good, but they call it the thug.
So you have the gravity fruit for 2 years, and you're telling me that the first thing you realize is I can bring down meteors. That's not a first. That's not a first.
Yo, what was his like first initial reaction when he did it?
I mean, oh shit!
It's right after I dispelled him Shadow Opinion, so I was like, well,
He wiped an entire
I messed spell
civilization.
But he can see.
What was that?
He can see clouds though. Apparently, he can sense clouds. That's how good his observation is. But like,
I don't know what he's like. He's so broken a character.
Right. Like,
I don't know what he's like.
It makes more sense that he's had it before the Navy, right? 100%. But like, it also doesn't make sense because like, where was this man who can just bring down meteors, and where has he tested this out? Like,
I have a quick question. I don't know if I can ask it real quick. Who do y'all think is the strongest of the 3 admirals?
All right, so we're not doing that right now. Because that's a whole different question. And that's a whole different topic. Lawrence, go. Yo, every single time, bro. Every single time we ask a question, Lawrence is like,
the information about him being the one that ate the fruit. That's
yeah.
Oh yeah, there you go. Okay. Yeah, where did we do off? That's what we did. Honestly, to me, I'm just saying, because the way he utilized it, it makes it seem like it's just a sword.
It does.
Right? Because, like, for example, I haven't seen another ability user use it just through a weapon. Like, for example, Wiper used a weapon.
Transmog quick.
No, but like Law does like shambles and then
exactly.
But like Fujitora technically should just be able to
MX, fuck.
I mean, he hasn't been punched. You know what I'm saying?
Base,
To that
look at
extent. Like,
Are you a fan?
Law shambles technically he uses to utilize
Okay,
his
I'm
battle
jealous.
strategy.
I wanted that one.
Like, in order to pull
I got a
the part
fucking
out.
lame ass.
Like, he does that with the sword.
So we're saying Fujitora is just doing it for like style, because he doesn't have the technique. He's like,
he can just do like this.
Yeah.
He's like, nah.
He strictly used it in the sword.
Like, how ironic is that? He can't.
Yo, maybe
like
one at a time. One at a
Maybe
time.
it's a trick to make you think it's the sword, and then he's just like, come here. It's like, I got your sword. It's like, it doesn't matter, bro.
Yo, that'd be funny as a gag. Like, Luffy's like, hi, I got your sword now. And he's just like, oh, okay.
Jay's in his feels right now. He's like, fucking, I wish we had a fucking lost. Bullshit.
He like cuts a cloud or something. Like, you know, it's like when he was holding Law down through the sword. Holding Zoro down through the sword. Everything is through the sword. So I was like, I haven't seen anyone else use their ability just through their weapon when you have it yourself. When you don't use it. You know? That's like why I think it's off like that. Basically just shoot through the sword or something like that. But besides that, I think it's actually cool they're doing it because even Whitebeard, I think I see him use the Quake through his outfit like Canadians.
Yeah,
you know?
he is. Yeah.
But then like he's like punching you with it, right?
Yeah.
So like, yeah, but it's Fuji, like to me with him, he's definitely gonna be one of the topper. I believe he's just topper admirals.
On that top shelf. Kizaru winning this poll I just put in here.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is wild. He has Sanji and
So for me, I do agree that I do like it better that he has the fruit instead of the sword. I think it would have been cool to reference Funk Food in that way, where it's like a Paramecia instead of a Zone. But it kind of would have made sense since I don't know if Zone wills have a bigger effect than Paramecia do.
So I was gonna say this is a great setup.
Right.
Because one of the things with this sword having it was that in SBS volume 99, Oda says he implies essentially that we've seen Zoe and Optimus, right? And Caesar has no smile, right? And what Oda implies is that we might be seeing like Kizaru's laser in the Pacifista. We might be seeing more of that.
Should burst down.
And so that was my line of thinking that might have, like, that might have been gifted from Vegapunk.
From Vegapunk.
Because in the first conversation we see of Fujitora and Green Bull in like chapter 905 or something like that, we see them like talking about Vegapunk. They're both kind of familiar with him, and it lends itself to this idea that both of them have
I'm
like,
gonna
a
do it.
relationship.
I'm waiting for you to like use something, and I'm gonna try and counter it.
So I like the ability to think that they're not like one-sided. I like for my
Look at you,
admirals to be
fat
very
panda.
versatile. I like them to be ambitiously versatile. So if he was to drop that sword, I want to know that my admiral can still bang out at a high level. So him having this fruit himself makes that a possibility, and also we get cool like interactions with him and the sword. For
I
example,
hope nobody
like
gets
Sebastian
knocked
said,
off.
he can just like push you out with pain, right? But if he ever had the sword like too far from him, he
Donde
can
es?
just make it pull it back and grab it and start fighting again. So he can add like these like
listen to
when
me
Killer
ever.
Bee fought
You never listen to me.
Imagine Fujitora doing that versus like Zoro.
He's just spinning a sword.
Yeah, so like he's using the sword to like fight you, but at
You're
the same
still
time
number
he's,
one
like,
on the
punching
meters
you in
though.
the
and
face.
getting
Which is
fucking
now
wrecked.
challenging Zoro as a, are you gonna just strictly rely on the sword, or are you gonna actually like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna have a lot more to get him, and it makes him exactly. So that's what I was gonna say. It makes the admirals more right in that aspect.
Two things. We got a couple super chats I do want to read, but real quick, Conjuro, Brandon King pointed out Conjuro uses his belt to the sword point.
Oh yeah, he does.
Conjuro is low-key one of the most underrated characters.
Yo, he
in the
really
series.
is.
Yeah,
He's so nice.
Remember we were fighting on the Twitter, we were talking about which Scabber was the strongest, and then I was like, wait, Conjuro, Conjuro is the strongest one, because he had to fight all of them. And it was like,
And he didn't die.
And he killed somebody.
He almost killed 2 people.
Yeah.
People should have been dead.
Conjuro, but like, and he doesn't even have a sword, he has a brush. He has a brush with a hilt. Like, that's essentially what it is.
But yeah,
he can essentially do like you see what Cracker did, right? Conjuro can do that and give them all their own willpower. Like he can create like an army of Kazembo.
That's why.
How is Kazembo still working?
I like the biggest show he did because for years helping
Yo.
them, I can't go.
The dedication.
Hold on. Let's get to the super
Yeah, we
chats.
got
All well
two
here.
super chats. Another one from
Woes
Insatiable
for
Hunger.
years,
Thank you
dude.
so
Yo,
much.
Insatiable, thank you so much.
It says, have y'all read the Boichi manga? It wanks ace. Speaking of wank, what would you like Kid to train more with? What would you like Kid to train more with?
Oh, yeah, we
His
didn't
hockey or his
finish.
fruit? And who would be his sensei?
He's like, I'm trying to get out of range of
He's
this
the best
fucking
sensei
life
in the
grip.
entire show.
I think we
And
can
he
make
needs
it
to
to
be
the
better.
boss.
Because Kid's severely lacks.
His fruit is I think
His hockey.
20
his
seconds
hockey,
is gonna be
yeah,
pretty
'cause
tight.
The thing is, he has the avenue now. When you're a Kansas position user, he has
I
the
get
avenue
the,
to reach top tier
slimes.
levels. You know what I'm saying? He just needs to tap into that advanced conqueror's hockey status and use it. Like if I'm punching you now with metal,
You know how we
but
said
it's-
that like Luffy's fruit
And he
was
stole
searching
its
for
head.
somebody and
How
it fit the
cringe,
person.
dude.
Like
See if he gets
Kid's
hit
fruit
with
don't
this.
fit him, bro.
Oh, didn't even flinch. Didn't even.
And he collects trash.
I've said it before.
But like,
I don't like to reiterate.
And the ace thing, that's with the guy who drew Seven Penrock.
Yeah, and I've read some. I like skim.
It looks dope.
It looks amazing.
Yeah.
This is bullshit.
All right, hold on.
to see One Piece
We
back
gotta
to
go
back.
to the next one before.
All right.
That registry is bullshit. What are we, Oceanic?
Kill this guy.
Fujitora's sword is a walking stick.
Okay, whoever gets on the, whoever gets the pillar or the crystal, I'll PI.
You think he dodged
With that sword?
Gravity on his eye.
Nah, I think that you know how they.
You're just watching
He's probably
streamers.
playing
Don't
with it too
lie.
much.
He was spinning around. Gravity is really crazy.
Myself on
Oh, you guys didn't get it. It's like when you play it too much, you might go down.
Come on, man.
Alright, yo, Mark, on that note.
Before we get to the calls, I just want to bring up two things.
I'm on to be wanting the haste guy. Don't worry.
Last episode, we had like a huge thing about the hockey, the black lady and the black lady. And I
I'm
remember
stunned
the
for a
last
year. I didn't know that actually stunned me. I've never
But
been
in
hit by
Road to
that
Last
before.
Tale 2, they proved me
AOE
right. They
incoming.
said Oda essentially, every Road to Last Tale, like for us, it's kind of like Sebastian said. It's you know, we generally know most of it. For the general audience, not even our viewers are manga readers, you know, they're looking at everything. But
Damn, Insatiable.
But you know, for the general audience, you know, people who aren't like me,
I
who
got
don't
him.
read whatever.
I'm pissed because I
it's great.
clicked it,
But
so I was in the middle of
every
the cast.
drop, there's always like one thing. This one, I guess, the Fujitora is a solid.
That
one,
doesn't
everyone's
register?
been wondering about it. But
Yeah.
last week, you posted the video of that like whole monologue that I had about the black and black, and there was so much discourse in the comments where people were like, Roger and Whitebeard had black blades. No, they didn't.
Yeah. What is that?
There's only 2 black blades, and they're like, no, there's 7, and I was like, no, there's not. and then they were like, wait, aren't black like we see like Zoro has a black blade? No, that's a black Indian, not a black. And so in Road to Laugh Tale 2, Oda specifically in the notes said,
You're not.
is
Oh my god,
all that's
definitely not.
needed to make a black blade like Yoru and the thing.
Apparently not.
And it's not. And so that's why that conversation is so important. If you guys go, I would go rewatch that episode because there was a lot of great conversation.
Stranger Things that important, Jay?
This is why
Is Stranger Things that important to you?
that's where Pargo.
Hold on. We are going to read the super chats really quick, and we're not going to be able to answer the questions because we have to do our sponsor, and then we'll answer it after. So,
All right, so we got a $5 super chat from
No, you use both.
Hunger. Thank
One for
you
Jay, one for me.
again. Arigato.
It says, can Lagias have an armament infusion just like how Luffy was armored but rubbery? I
He had
believe
it.
Oda will finally
Yeah,
show
because
the
he had the Shadow Fury. He noticed it on the way.
Let's answer that after.
I honestly thought,
And then we
I didn't
got
know how
one
many
from Sean
things
Duarte.
came down. That was a lot.
It's, $8 super
I didn't
chat.
register that.
Fujitora from
No,
Pirate
fuck
King. Love from Australia, killing it, boy.
Hey, thank you from Australia, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. We're gonna answer it, but we gotta take our sponsor.
So, episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Have you been struggling lately? Maybe you're having trouble sleeping, difficulty with a relationship, or just struggling from
wish I could
low
kill you.
self-esteem. Listen, I've been there. We've been there. If so, then today's BetterHelp wants to help you. BetterHelp offers licensed therapists who are trained to listen and help you. Talk to your therapist in a private, online environment at your own convenience. There is a broad range of expertise in BetterHelp's 20,000 plus therapist network that gives you access to help that may not be available in your area. You just fill out a questionnaire, simple as that, to help assess your specific needs. And then you get matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. Then you schedule and secure video and phone sessions. Plus, you can exchange unlimited messages and everything you share is
Why do we have the
completely
drill?
confidential. I happened to sign up at one point regarding my confidence
On the bright
issues.
side,
Next
the
thing
drill
you
is
know,
like the easiest thing to
my
kind of
confidence issues are not
just an
issues
LOS.
anymore. I'm doing pretty well in that area. You can request a new therapist at no additional charge anytime. Join the 2 million plus people who have taken charge of their mental health with an experienced BetterHelp therapist. Special offer goes out to all that One Piece Talk listeners. You get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/TOPT. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/TOPT.
Find shelter.
Thanks again to BetterHelp for sponsoring this episode.
Alright, so welcome back. Everybody, don't forget to like the stream, please. Thank you. It helps us out.
Oh, I like it.
So for that one question regarding the admirals, right?
Yeah.
Just read it one more.
Can Lagias
Find
have
shelter.
hockey infusion just like how Luffy was armored but rubbery? I believe Oda will finally show the admirals full strength.
I think that if we were to see that, it's going to be from the previous 3 hours.
So I think what they're similar to Doflamingo and not occurring, how they could armor him.
Find shelter.
I don't think that the Logias will allow that because they're elements, and that it is cutting hairs. But that's the reason why I think we got Rio and Conquerors, because you can
Literally
imbue
down
that
like what?
into your.
It had to be
no
in
matter
the single
what you
digits.
have, you can now imbue your elements with that. I think that's where
Akainu created a whole volcano, bro.
Yeah.
Did he? You know? Yeah. Like,
I mean, he influenced.
At least we have the best one.
What
the best
I'm
class.
trying to say is, like,
But it's
if
nice.
Doflamingo could do it with his strings, then I can see like Aokiji spurt up an ice and
It
have
is my
Akainu
favorite quarter.
tip-
Well, I'm sure
tips
for
of,
you
like,
too,
that
Jay.
ice, and
Yeah.
then like hit you with it.
I'm not saying it's not possible.
And they're like the one type of devil fruit that is actually genetically modified. I don't think the voice on people. So it's like it's only like I think it's
AOE incoming.
So I think the reason why I
Chill, buddy.
think that we're is because of the separation elements. Like,
He's like, I don't care about those swirls. The swirls are stupid.
Again, like it could be that we're gonna see like magma coated with armament. Very possible. I'm not saying it's not possible, but what I'm saying is Oda treats those two things
Pull the other
separate.
one.
And
Pull the
I
other
don't
one.
know what we're even gonna see with Awakenings in general.
Watch your
I
step.
would imagine that.
Liquid metal would be wild.
Yeah, like I would imagine. It would be cool though. Like with the fire, you get like black fire.
Watch your step.
But I don't know why. I just have this feeling we're not.
Watch your step.
Coded elements rather than using hockey.
Watch your step.
And that's Conqueror's influence, Rio.
We should have earned this. I don't know why I
And
didn't.
we've seen the
Shockwave.
even in Marineford proficient with Rio because they drop attack with it, and that have to be Rio. It's not like they're just praying.
Watch your step.
I mean, some people don't think it's Rio. I'm just saying. Some people actually don't think that was Rio. So
Imagine if they were all earned. They weren't.
all three admirals did this, right? And it's like, and then you see Whitebeard's blast come out.
You must
and
like it
stops.
for the
So it's
damage
like either they're
gears.
praying
I'm
or
sure
it's
it
Rio,
fucking
right?
stacks
I'm
the
like,
fuck
I
out
had
of
this
it.
argument with both of these dudes for the longest.
Actually, it probably doesn't over a long period of time.
No, it was them in line.
No, but I already told you, the force field is different from what Luffy was trying to use the Hokkaido. They're two different things. Bro, when Luffy was trying to protect himself from Big Mom, he did this. No, I understand that. But what Luffy was trying to learn to hurt Kaido to hit him deeper is different from the shield.
That is true.
Yeah,
It's a different.
Alright, so
It's the same concept, but different.
before we get crazy with this, we have to take calls.
Yep.
Okay,
Alright.
so we're 7 minutes in. Marv, can you put up the phone number, please, for people to call up? All right, guys, when you call up, do not be jerks, just in case, because I know there's a couple of people that came through that started following us from TikTok. Just letting you know, not cursed, no going crazy.
Keep jumping.
Hey, how's it going? This is Larry from that One Piece Talk. Who are you? And how are you?
Is Aaron Tate guys?
Make sure you're jumping.
Aaron Tate, what's going on, brother?
Jump.
I stay on deck. So two things before I ask my question. One, congratulations, Harvey, for being on
Watch your feet.
Thank you. Appreciate that you watching.
I don't know.
Yeah, I got up to like 6 hours.
Nope,
I've been watching
does
it
not.
the past few days. It's crazy that you guys were on there for 10 hours.
Yeah, Jay said 6 hours, right? But then on the stream, I was just like, yo, man, I did 11. And then he's like, there ain't no way I'm going past 7. And I said on the stream, I said, I'll see what and then I think around 8 hours or 9 hours, I bring out the elemental hockey thing. And it was, I could have gone on, I was talking with Ragnar, because it was the agenda part of the conversation. And so, we share our theories, and then people are supposed to like battle a little bit, push back a little bit. And Ragnar was battling, and I had receipts for every single thing because they didn't know all of my videos low-key connected to elemental hockey thing. So I pulled up from this video, and Jay was like, "Hey, yo, like I didn't think that you were gonna go that far with it." And so the chat was like, "Yo, this is about to be a 45-minute elemental hockey thing. Yeah, I'm gonna stop."
If y'all want to debate with Parvin, you gotta come prepared, bro. He knows.
Yeah. You also brought up the shadow thing theory.
Yeah.
I thought it was. Yeah, I thought it was far-fetched, but it was definitely interesting to hear.
Watch your feet.
So yeah, I thought that was interesting that you brought that up. I was just happy to see you being able to shine throughout that reverie because I know you were in there with a lot of big heads. So
Watch your feet.
True.
And then also, I wanted to shout out you guys for.
I'm sure Hunter was happy to DPS him.
So I wanted to shout you guys out for always answering my questions as part of the clips on TikTok. So thanks for thinking about it.
That's good question.
I appreciate it. Hopefully this is. So my question.
Gets insta-clunked. I'm like, what'd you do?
Shockwave.
Don't look at me.
Hey,
Yeah.
The best cheat code as a healer when I'm like, I don't want to heal. I just pop her. I'm like, I go back to DPS.
Kobe already showed.
Beast.
I'm with you, Paul.
Momo has to have it. Momo has to
I think Momo's a lot better than the other two.
Yeah.
Nah.
I would say out of those three, Momo's probably the most likely to have it.
Yeah.
But I'm with you on the Usopp thing. I've been saying this since forever.
See, even
and
with
part drop, I'm like, yes.
My most watched video is the Usopp thing. But even without my video,
Jump.
Usopp hasn't said it once. He said it twice. He said he was going to have Conquerors.
We're going deep. We're doing a lot, boys. We're doing a lot.
Like, remember what Conquerors is. Remember, you are born with a will or disposition that stands above others. That's what a conqueror is. You're born with a will or disposition, or the same thing, that stands above others. And born again Usopp will have. Where does Usopp and Kobe fit into that category?
So Momo, I'm so iffy with Momo. No, Momo's definitely gonna have it. Momo is like, I don't know what people wanted from him. He was an 8-year-old for the majority of the story, right? And his dad, everyone wanted to avenge his dad's death, right? But who killed his dad? The strongest person in the world. That's some mess. Imagine
You're not able to
Superman
hit 6
killing your dad, and
DPS.
you're like, I gotta go.
It's a big struggle for you. I get it.
So, you know, he chose to leave his mom, right? To go on this 20-year-old.
This hunter out here is trying to do 10K like by itself, and you're like, I can't do 40K. It's fucking a hardship. Yeah.
And then I have a video that explains why his lineage isn't the Kozuki stuff. There might be crazier stuff involved. Now, my most watched video is Usopp. And honestly, like in pure reflection, and I've told this to my dad, I'm glad I made that before Onigashima, because I don't think I would have an opportunity.
Somebody interrupt that. Okay.
But you know, that point still stands where it's like the elements of that video are still true. There's nothing, you know, falsified by that by Onigashima. And when your point is, it's like when you think about it, and you know, this might be better. I haven't gotten to the Kobe. The Kobe one's the most concrete one in my mind. Because the Usopp one was like, think about it like this, on his island, he was the one who was actually tracking pirates and confronting them first out of anyone on his island. He was willing to do that for his people. Yes, there's a lot of other stuff involved in that, but when you think about it, right, if you're just a fodder person, why would you be doing that? Why would you be running at the pirates and trying to even front, having 8,000 people, right? Why would you ever be trying to do that if you weren't like a kind of built?
Find shelter.
You're not saying built like Luffy. You're not saying built like.
That's some digs, bro.
Built different in a way that is respectful, right? Luffy respects him. Luffy wants to keep it. And now the Kobe. And I'm putting this part.
I'm literally over in Madagascar, and you guys come to take mine because he lets down one.
But they're in the scene. He steps up to
I'm gonna shit talk you. I'm like, this fucking rogue can't fucking go in the air. It's actually insane.
Find shelter.
So loud.
He's not the same. He did it.
We talked about this at dinner. I now remember he talked about this at dinner. He screams so loudly that not just Akainu. Yeah, he's just in front of Akainu.
No, I'm literally right next to Jay. Like, B and JJ are directly next to each other, just chain lightning each other. That's the fucking trying to pump this HPS, bro.
And then on top of that, the panel parallels the same one that Luffy had in the same art. He had the whoosh that we got with the Taki blue. We got everything.
Find shelter.
So this is where it's getting out of hand. Yo, they're getting out of hand, right? Yeah. Alright, so one, there's a difference between begging and telling somebody and telling
Nobody look at me.
Stop and everything. That one word.
He was begging.
He said stop. He said stop. Hold up.
He was begging Akainu to stop.
Target you.
Not while you're mounting. Not while you're doing this thing.
After that, Akainu.
It's so cool.
Akainu stopped, and he had a few seconds of courage. That's what Shanks said. A few seconds to say what he was, and then he was about to die.
So are we mixing courage with conquering?
Well, you have to have courage to conquer.
Yo, but
you have to have. It's true. What has Momo been trying to battle? What has Momo? What is Momo's entire character?
Yo, but hold on.
Coward versus courage.
Hold on.
Right?
You're saying saying overall that just because you have courage means that you could just have Conqueror's
No,
hockey.
I'm not saying
That's not true.
Because VB had the same showing. VB had the same show. She screamed, she had the courage, but nobody listened. You know, nobody listened.
Bam! Oh, we're doing the Gigapole.
Actually conquer it.
Exactly.
Bam!
But what I'm saying is like just because like Cole showed up doing that, he wasn't knocking people out next to him.
I mean, there was a panel of us. No, but the point is,
You're good. I have Guardian Spirit on you. There's no shot you're dying, okay? You just pump, okay? I will fucking keep you alive. The tank can survive himself.
Yo, the reason why Kobe is doing this is because people are literally falling.
Actually, no way you die.
Now, if you're gonna take
If you
that
die, I
to
think it's because you
coach and
stood in
people are falling
Sanguine.
next to him, that's not Conqueror's, bro.
no, I'm not saying. No, the courage part, right? The VB is the exact counter to what you're saying. She had the courage in the middle of a war, smaller than Ringford. She's the princess.
I don't know if this whole
Everyone should be listening
left
to her.
side
She's
actually
on
gives us
top
that
of them.
percentage.
Yeah. Nobody listened to her. Nobody. And you know, but you
But
know
we
what
didn't,
happened? What did listen to her? The weather.
It took more than normal because the Mana Storms, you know, we skip the drill. So we have the drill, which is weird.
Very same whoosh.
But we have like a lot less percent.
That same whoosh was given to Kobe.
He didn't pull
If you
that
didn't
stuff in
have
the
that,
back over
I
there.
wouldn't be saying this. And now
This guy.
the other part of it is that just because you have, and Oda has straight out said this too, Conquerors doesn't mean you knock out people.
Boy, you
That's
get
not
that
what
all
Conquerors means.
get all of it.
Conquerors, it's a command.
Empower.
You agree with that too.
You have to
Shirahoshi.
Yeah.
you have to instill your spirit into somebody else.
Exactly. So now we're talking about the strongest people at Marineford. Because I had no reason to stop. No reason to stop. He was fighting in the sky. But the
Shockwave.
Whoa. I think 30 fucking put CDR. Fucking. Oh, really? Don't worry, I know that mechanic. Familiar-esque. Did they change it at all, or is it still the exact same thing? One other target.
So this is where like Mihawk can be a sword is a thing. Or like
I find it wild that like sweeping strikes does more than one, but like
what I'm trying to say is
player
that
only does one.
even though that you can make those connections, it doesn't mean that they necessarily do that.
Like that's wild to me. Like a fucking warrior does way more DPS. Oh my god, one more.
Dramatic effect. He goes whoosh.
One
You
more.
know what I'm saying? It doesn't necessarily mean that.
where else he's
I think we
used
didn't pull one
You have to
deep.
do that. You have to look at the panel. That
Oh no,
he
right
gave
here.
him a
Hold up.
whole
He went this way.
panel
So
for it.
this is part.
The
I'm gonna be
same
real.
thing with Luffy.
This is
when else
this
in
is
Marine
One
Corps-
Piece
where-
madness.
No, it's not.
This is One Piece
Because
madness.
that's why. Because there's two more packs here.
It's
It's like we went to the right. Which is weird.
panel in it?
Yes, you're
That's
gonna
important.
hold on. You're gonna give them an entire panel to highlight how much destruction this war is actually causing, and it's being broadcasted
And
to
so
the
who
entire
stopped
world.
it? Who stopped it?
But he didn't
Nobody
stop
can
it.
stop
He
it.
didn't stop
They
it.
give Shanks
She
credit,
didn't stop it.
but it was really Kobe.
No,
2
shut
minutes.
up.
Shanks
No,
Okay.
it
even
wasn't.
said that.
Tyrannical
Shanks
boys.
even said
No,
that.
Shanks said, "Thank you providing me the seconds I needed in order to
Yeah.
stop the war."
Yeah, but then why did Shanks do it himself?
Go
but it was,
Kobe.
hold on.
Hey,
It
yo.
was because there was no other
That's a
Marine. Hold on. There is no other Marine in that war that had the courage to step up to Akainu at that moment.
Courage.
But
Akainu, the
again,
strongest man there.
But that's why it was so encompassing for everybody to look.
Who's the only person who had the courage to stand up to Akainu?
I wonder if the hunters actually.
Everybody
Has
that
Ace,
wanted
your
to fight
favorite
him.
character.
Yes.
Ace had the courage.
Yes.
And what did he have?
Because we can actually one
But
phase.
But he had conquerors, right?
But at the
If you
same time,
don't-
all right. So who
Fuck.
else stepped up to Akainu?
2 phases will go. It
Marco.
costs us like 4 minutes.
Vista.
Marco?
And what happened to them?
Alright, but like,
Where's their conquerors?
but in that way to stop him.
No,
in that way to stop
I
him.
know that you're trying to make this super like official, and it is superficial.
No, but like-
it's not. It's really just. Hold on. It's
Why do you
really
always
just
take
Kobe
instant
was
damage?
there.
Oh, you do.
Run out.
Low-ranking Marine. Everybody's
You
like,
literally
"You're
have tricks of
stepping
the trade.
up to
That's a
Akainu.
preventable
He's
thing.
going to kill you."
Shockwave.
He said, "I don't care.
Stop looking at
I
me.
just want the voices in my head to stop because what was
Like that excuse only works for certain classes.
observation hockey. He had torture. The same way that
Like-
girl
like Jay.
all the
Shockwave.
experience, he had that, and he felt it was torture. So when he went to Akainu, he asked him by begging him
Is
to
that what's
stop.
happening?
He
Run
didn't
out.
say you better stop.
Just because
he didn't say you have to stop, or I'm going to hurt you.
He just said stop.
He just said
He
stop.
didn't beg him to stop. He
Yeah.
just said stop.
Afterwards, he
This
put in
first
the reason.
one is
After
actually-
that's
Run
not
out.
begging.
Shockwave.
What? He got a few seconds of courage, right? Before he said stop, but you said it yourself.
Wow,
This
Jay.
is affecting someone else's.
I saw
spirit.
he. I think he walked as it was traveling. As it was traveling.
No one's gonna listen unless I have confidence.
I thought it would have been more. I thought it would have actually traveled faster. To be honest.
She didn't stop anyone. Because
Find shelter.
He didn't use.
Lost
He didn't
to-
show a sign
Everyone should
of
be able to
conquerors
do it.
because ultimately Akainu didn't feel affected
Oh.
to stop. He just paused for a second. That's weird.
No, everyone stopped. Law, Drake, they showed
Without Oda showing the effect of what was happening in
Law,
the war.
so Oda showed the strongest people at Marine for stopping. The strongest
Remember,
people.
two things.
I love this about
I want to bring up the same thing you bring up. That's why I was waiting. Because like one night, Kobe's mantra was
Oh, Jay knocked it out. We win it. We out here. I see two. I see three, 4. Oh, we got them all. We're gonna win. 18 seconds. And 2, 1, and we're going. Hoodie, you're getting the PI because you're melee. There's no fucking cap. Stupid shit.
Yes, I mean, I'm sorry to say he might be killing that over. But like, lowest listed, right, is now emotional dude. You're saying what scared everyone felt was because what he was feeling. Kobe's already an emotional dude. Now you're in a war who Kobe, you're saying a soft-hearted man, emotional dude, is feeling everyone's voices.
Run out.
He's feeling everyone dying.
10%.
So that's, he's just like, it's over.
Shockwave.
Him. Proof of that is he too much. Because remember, right after he screamed, what happened to Kobe? He passed out. So
Well, he passed out because he was about to get.
Because he got conquered.
You know what I'm saying?
Stop
He
looking.
was next to
Stop looking at
He
me.
was next to Shanks and Akainu. I think I would piss my pants too, right? Like even though
No,
Shanks
it wasn't just that.
Run out.
It kind of went to actively punch Kobe and kill him. You know what I
But
mean?
he didn't pass
Yeah.
out from that.
On
Ultimately,
this bus is
from
a
my
trick.
interpretation of what
You were
that
the
scene was
priest and
about,
they're half
he
smart.
passed
You
out
stand in the
from
center.
the
Run out.
Always have a priest in the way, and I'll mess this
voices
up.
in his head.
At least one of them.
And what was actually happening.
So he would have passed out before then.
I know.
He stopped that.
Because it's
You also said he's
No,
everything.
I think he reached the point where he couldn't take it anymore, and
Right,
he just
no, but-
passed out
but
from
when
it. And
he
then
spoke-
Shanks showed up in enough time to like stop him from dying.
When he spoke, though, everything stopped.
Run
Yeah,
out.
but people were still dropping.
Yeah, they were still dying.
That's why they're dubbing.
You
That's why
want
they're
me
showing all the people dropping was because they're showing Kobe
Yeah.
was good. Because even after the war,
Run out.
right? He's in
Shockwave.
crazy. And you're saying, yeah, you got
But that point of that is that he's emotional. He's in tune. He woke in his observation.
Average,
But just
dude.
because you feel something, right?
Oh my
we're
God,
not
the
seeing
walking
phenomena.
stick,
We're not
dude?
seeing other people scream and then
I
stop
don't think that helps me
admirals.
at all, but
We're
Well,
not seeing that.
there was never a battle at that height where somebody else can just do that.
I mean, we were in a war with a bunch of people dying.
But
There was probably lots of people
but
screaming.
another thing, right?
How many people were screaming stop while they were running as pirates?
It doesn't have to be that no one passed out, but no one sensed that he was a conqueror. No one felt that. Like for example, Luffy let it out.
That's true,
everyone,
too.
Everyone felt that. Oh, that's a conqueror. You know, every time someone lets that out, they, like King, who's not even a conqueror himself, Zoro let it out. Felt. Oh, you too have kingly ambitions. When someone usually lets it out,
GG's.
someone can feel.
So,
I'm gonna go eat food, too.
the separation I would say there is when
GG's,
Luffy
hood
said
gay.
there was a handful of people that recognized
Peasy, peasy, peasy.
But the majority of people were just like, what was that? Majority of people did not
So
know
hold on,
exactly what that was.
hold on. So you're telling me that Kobe had a better conquerors like showing than Luffy at
I'm
that
not
war?
saying that.
No, he didn't say that.
Because
I'm
like,
not saying that.
You say-
No,
you
no,
say
no,
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 you
no,
say
no,
that.
Luffy got
No, but
recognized.
even the handful he's talking about are the elites. It was Akainu who was like, Aokiji was like, whoa, what,
But hold
up.
on. But by
Guard.
Parr's definition, it was nobody else out of the entire war